Hello, everybody. We are going to be playing Wanderhome tonight. And I know this is a little weird because you see Hoop's face over there, but it is not Hoop that is running the stream, and that's confusing. Oh, no, you don't see Hoop's face. Actually, this is totally normal now. Hi, I'm running a game. And the person who's usually the runner of all games here on Lost Caravan. Oh, okay. This is now I'm awkward again. Um, But anyway, this is the Lost Caravan RPG. We do one-shots, we do mini campaigns, we do long-running campaigns. We basically do it all. And if you want to, I'm already choking on my words, but if you want to join us for any of those games in the coming future, we have a casting call usually about midway through each month for the following month. So I believe the one for June is already closed, but you can always feel free to join us for July games. That'll be posted in June, so either watch out for our Twitter or also feel free to join our Discord. Where you will get all of the updates as well as cute chat pictures and recipes and all the good things that come with being in a Discord with a bunch of cool people. Also feel free to check out our YouTube if you have missed any episodes of any shows. Whether you're just like, oh hey, I heard you did Call of Cthulhu that one time, you can go find that. Or if you want to find like episode 4 of Fabula Ultima, all there, all at your disposal. You can binge watch a bunch of our actual plays. And we'd really appreciate if you did that, if you wanted to support us. We do have one sponsor that we want to give a shout out to, Soul Muppet. They are the creators of Orbital Blues, which was played about a week and a half ago at this point, maybe a week. And I believe that should already be up on our YouTube, so if you want to check out our actual play of it, and then cool things will be coming with the new sponsorship with Soul Muppet, so keep a lookout for that. All right, I think I did all of the housewarming, house cleaning, whatever it's called. And with that, I am going to start the narration of the game that I've been very excited to run for quite a while, so I hope everyone enjoys. First, we're going to open up with a quote from the book. The road has a song all to its own. Press your ear against my chest and you'll hear it. It is always with me, soaring across mountaintops and sleeping in the gutter where the small and forgotten gods live. It tangles through my hair and sits heavy in my boots. Some days that song roars through my bones louder than any storm, and other days it hums its tune so quietly that I could forget it's even there. But I will always hold tight to it, and I'll throw on my cloak, grab my walking stick, and set foot once more. I trust the song, I trust the road, I trust that someday I will arrive at a town and lay down in the grass, and know that this is where I'm meant to be. The road is the river that calls me home. So with that, we are going to open our story in a humble little village called Hummingberg. So Hummingberg is basically a little village that is kind of inset into the side of a hill, but there is also a nice wide open field with this one big, hardy, probably ancient oak tree that just seems to be almost a focal point right near a nice little lake. You were all basically, you live in Hummingberg. It is your home. It is where all of you have probably either seen each other on the streets, maybe got into some shenanigans together. You all are basically neighbors in one way or another. And you know that one of your oldest neighbors, named Rem the Resilient, but you'll always hear him just call himself Rem, and if he ever is called the Resilient, usually he will try to just it off. But you know that Rem is about to have their 111th birthday. So And you know that Rem is very excited because this is a big milestone. So he has called you to the tree that is that big focal point right near the lake to talk to you and basically ask you a favor. I don't know if all of you would want to like meet up in the village and then go to Rem together, or if all of you would want to meet separate or like walk separately towards the big tree. But if we want, we can have everyone kind of say who they think, if all of you are traveling together, who you think would like be the organizer of it all to get everyone over there. So either the first person to the tree or like the organizer. If like we're all gonna meet right in front of like the bear's den, and then we'll go over there from there. So if anyone wants to start us off.
I feel like Juniper would be a fantastic leader.
Juniper absolutely is. So Juniper is a capybara, and he has a very gentle nature. He is pretty old, and he carries a shepherd's crook. I don't know what they're called, but it's really worn where he holds it because he has it all the time. And the other really important thing that he has is a bug whistle because he is a shepherd of bugs, particularly bumbles. And so he is already having to keep track of the bumbles. And so he's very used to checking in on the group and just making sure that everybody has what they need and that everyone's comfortable and is ready to adventure. So I imagine if everybody is separate, Juniper would simply go around to everybody's homes. I gotta look up the names of my bumbles because I forgot. Please hold, but this is important, I promise. Bert. Bert is the sturdiest of my bumbles, and so Juniper is sitting on him. Very short legs, no like reins or anything, just sort of like balanced, perched the way that capybaras sometimes are, with his eyes closed, and just kind of directs Bert to everybody's home. And would probably stop by Levi's first, just because Juniper knows that Levi would be excited and would want to go and help gather everybody else. So I'll go and knock on Levi's door.
Who would answer but a very lively raccoon who's already completely dressed and ready for the day. Ocarina at their hilt and a raggedy cloak over their shoulders. Hi, where are we going?
Good morning, Levi. Rem's birthday is today, as you know, and I think that we should go and gather everybody. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Would you like to go and collect Cassius, or would you like to go and collect Gutterball, or Boop? I have forgotten your character's name because you didn't change your name in Zoom.
Franklin.
Franklin. Thank you. Who would you like to go and collect?
Tough one. They would all be so fun, but Gutterball would have to be my choice.
I will go and try to find Cassius and Franklin then. And I don't know if everybody else is home. I assumed that Levi was home, but if anybody is anywhere else, then Juniper would head that way.
Is there any, does anyone think that they would either be somewhere other than a home or maybe have like an unconventional home that's not like a little door to knock on? Okay, Blair.
All of us.
Okay.
Gutterball's asleep under a tree in your backyard. In Levi's backyard.
Levi's backyard.
Sorry.
Okay.
In Levi's backyard. So it doesn't take too long to find Gutterball.
Levi, of course, fully aware of this, does not tell this to Juniper, and instead just sprints to his backyard. Gutterball! It's time!
I think Gutterball's a pretty heavy sleeper, so just shouting at him probably wouldn't help. Gutterball's also snoring really loudly. Yeah. Sounds kind of like a tractor, if we're going to be honest.
I think at that point, Levi would climb up the tree just a little bit, and then leap off of it to tackle Gutterball. out from under the tree, basically.
Nice. That'll probably do it. I will say Gutterball is a very large, wiry looking possum with like one of those, like a belt that has like a little like pack on it, and then wears a very dark cloak. So if you jump on Gutterball, yeah, they'll wake up, be like, just that. It's like, oh, Levi, why'd you do that?
Because it's time to go.
What do you mean?
Rem's birthday is today. We're going to celebrate, and I bet there's going to be cake.
No, that's tomorrow.
No, it's today. Juniper just knocked on my door. And why would Juniper knock on my door and tell me that if that was not the truth?
No, because listen, I remember I thought, I was like, okay, the birthday is tomorrow and all I have to do is sleep, and then I slept already, so it is tomorrow. Okay, it's the birthday. Do you have a gift?
Do I have why would I have a gift?
It's a birthday.
It's a birthday, right?
You gotta have gifts for a birthday. We don't have a gift. I was
Well,
gonna
that's
go
not one of
halvesies. I was gonna go halvesies on your gift.
What if we like took a pine cone and glued it to a stick?
Do they like pine cones?
Probably. Who doesn't like pine cones?
That's a very good answer. That sounds great.
Perfect. I'll go get the glue. You get the pine cone and stick, and soon we will have a gift.
Perfect. Gutterball's gonna spin in a circle, and then after a spin and a half, we'll realize, oh, there's pine cones under this tree, and pick up like 4. Just kind of have them. Unless pine cones are, wait. Now I'm trying to think of like sizing. Am I like a human-sized possum? Or
No, I think you'd all. So we're not in a world that's built for humans. We're in a world that's built for all of you. So if you're a possum, you can be whatever size possum you want to be, and like your house will be that's like you'll find little houses for mice next to big houses for bears and everything in between. So
Gotcha. So these are hand-sized pine cones, which is perfect. I have 4.
okay. So just for some context, Rem is a very large
Mm.
tortoise. So just in case you're wondering what kind of animal he is,
And-
he's just
Tortoise love pine cones. It's a fact. Yep.
it's everyone I've talked to says that. So
Right.
Who doesn't love pine cones?
It's a good answer.
So either Cassius or Franklin, would either of you like to kind of give an idea of where your characters are, and then from there, the ones that have already been alerted can go and find you and collect you to go to the tree.
Cassius doesn't spend a lot of time in what is ostensibly his home. He is there occasionally, primarily to sleep, but any other time, he's usually found off by himself, most often in the midst of one of the fields of flowers. And he will just sit there, almost hidden in them, except for the fact that he wears a very large hooded cloak and is not small as he is a tiger. So it is pretty visible that he is sitting there, but he just likes to sit there weaving flower crowns and other items for hours on end.
Franklin would be up on the hillside, canvas out, just like looking for the perfect colors, painting this whole scene of flowers, and the tiger just weaving flowers, just like, because the early morning hours are the best to paint in. Get the best lighting, you see all the truest colors. It's just perfect. And Franklin is also an otter who wears a cloak that goes about to the ground, but is just stained with all kinds of paints. Always looks like he's late to get somewhere. Unless he's painting, then he could just stay there all day.
And in this case, painting is what's going to make you late for
Mhm.
going to. Yeah. So I will say that when you are painting the scene, you're looking down and you're seeing Cassius in the flowers, and like, have you ever seen those pictures of like the tulip fields in like Amsterdam or something like that, where they're all like big rows of just like very dense flowers, like one after another? Um, the field that Cassius is laying in is like some light, it's like light baby blues and light baby pinks and just like a nice streak of white. And you just see Cassius just happily weaving together like all these different colors, and um it's a very nice picture to paint from like from a distance.
The colors match perfectly because I used those flowers to make the paint.
Oh, I didn't even know. Look at that. Things are working out so well. Um, so to the three of you who are already alerted to collecting the rest of your friends, does anyone see this? Does anyone kind of know where you can probably find one of these two?
I think that Juniper doesn't know, but the bees do, because the bumbles love to hang out with Franklin while he is painting.
They can smell my paints because they just smell like honey and flowers.
And so they're so excited. So I suspect Juniper is probably trying to steer toward Franklin or Cassius's home, and Bert is very insistent, and Juniper would look and see all of the other bumbles kind of starting to drift and would just kind of shrug and say, "Okay, Bert, you know best," and would coast along to the field.
Yeah, you so you think Bert would go more so towards Franklin first?
Yes, definitely.
So you find Franklin cheerfully painting away, just focused in on getting the perfect shading, almost trying to get every single perfect detail of like which flower is in which order in the crown that he can see Cassius weaving from a distance away. And obviously from the picture and also from the vantage point, you now also know where Cassius is.
As I am approaching Franklin, I will ask Val, my quietest and most chill bumble, to go down to Cassius, because I know that Cassius probably doesn't want to be overwhelmed with all of the bumbles going to flood in that area. And I'll go up to Franklin. "Hello, my friend. How are you this morning?"
I am great. Sorry, just one last detail here.
"Take your time. I am never in any rush."
Oh, June. Hi.
"Hi. Do you know what day it is?"
Wednesday?
I know you can get a little lost in time. Also, Rem's birthday. Wait, did you say Wednesday or Rem's day?
Rem's Day is definitely what I said.
Okay, well then you do know what day it is. I'm sorry I misheard you. We're getting ready to gather, and I don't want to rush your painting, but I also think it's going to be really cool to paint the party.
It's fine. I was just touching up on the final details anyway. And I guess I could just give this to Ren. Sure,
I
you'd
think
love
that's
it.
a great gift. Yeah. Do you want to catch a ride on Bert? And Bert will swing his butt around. I am still atop Bert, but Bert will swing his butt around for
Yeah.
Franklin if
Yeah,
Franklin would like
yeah.
to ride.
Just pick all this up in a way. I don't like holds up two otter paws that are just covered in colors. Hey Bert, you want some paw prints?
Do the pets talk in this world?
So I didn't think they would. There's no like clear rules of like, no, they're not allowed to talk. So if you want them to, they can.
I don't have enough voices for all the bumbles, so I'm good
Okay.
with them not talking.
Okay.
But you would just see Juniper kind of lean forward and, oh, okay, Bert, as Bert kind of bobs up and down in a, yeah, I'm excited.
Just
And
reach
Bert
out
is
and
totally cool with it.
there's 2 otter prints right in his hindquarters.
Yeah.
But
Let's
It's like
go.
those booty shorts you get when you're when you're on vacation at the beach. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Sorry, wholesome game. My bad. Sorry.
Cassius! Hey! We're going!
Cassius actually is already walking towards you because as soon as your bumble came over Juniper, he just looked up from what he was doing and nodded and said, "Oh, it's time, isn't it?" And then just stood up, dusted off his cloak, put back on the wooden mask that he wears that looks almost like his actual face, but the markings are slightly different, and it is wreathed in carved flowers and vines. And he puts that on, pretty well concealing himself entirely beneath, and then hands your bumble Juniper a small bouquet of flowers, and lifts up the flower crown and says, "Well, I hope Rem will like this."
Val does like a happy little twirl around Cassius and then will float with you. And Val is not the most coordinated, so it's probably pretty regularly bumping into you as they are trying to get by.
And Cassius is just helping Val along, making sure that they don't get too lost.
Did you say something?
Oh, I was just talking to Val.
Is Val talking back to you?
No, Val
Okay,
never
good.
talks back. Val doesn't need to talk.
So, with that, all of you are starting to make your way towards, like I said, basically this one big focal point of a tree right near a lake. It is very hard to miss unless you are literally facing the wrong direction, and it is right behind you. So it's very easy for all of you to navigate and find your way to the very bustling scene of a party being set up. Everyone's running around, making sure everything's in order. There are people hanging, instead of birdhouses, they're hanging little firefly houses up in the trees, because they were thinking that if they make the tree welcoming for the fireflies, then the party at night will have nice little twinkle lights just dispersed throughout the limbs. And there are people just getting food all out and setting up tents and making this big hurrah of a party that you will see later on in the evening. But while all of this is happening, you do see very distinctly a very large tortoise that you know to be Rem, leaning up against his walking stick and kind of just watching all of this happen because he likes to have a party. He does, it's true. But he's not exactly the party planner of sorts. It's kind of just seeing someone else's vision come to life, and it's kind of exciting to him, but he has like this not solemn, but very focused, just kind of watching people scuttle about and moving things. And if somebody looks like there'll be a moment when somebody will kind of like trip and fall and drop something, and he slowly starts walking with his cane over to kind of see if he can lean down and help. But after he kind of rightens himself up and he looks up and sees all of you start to approach, he will start to walk towards you. And so Rem is basically this large tortoise that, like I said, turning 111. Definitely walking slow, definitely has little chinks in his like little chips off of the tortoise shell on his back. He's missing a tiny little bit of the tip of his tail. And he does have a few little almost war scars that you all know. Hayeth was not always a happy place with people just living their lives in peace. There used to be war, there used to be debacle, there used to be people fighting for power. So you know that Rem used to be one of the ones fighting in those wars. You see the sword on his side that he has never pulled out of the sheath, but he seems to never not have it with him. And he starts walking over to you and he's like, "Oh, finally, the last bit of the party planning committee. Hello. Um, would all of you want to come, just one of the tents that's already set up? Maybe we can all have a little chat uh, before hopefully you help me out with something for my birthday." And he'll kind of just start like walking over and with his cane pull back the flap of a tent and kind of just hold it open for all of you to go into the tent with him. And all of you, I'm assuming, follow.
Franklin, of course, has been like locked on the back of the bumble and kind of just slides down backwards until just hitting the ground and then follows.
Okay.
Is the tent big enough for me to stay on top of Bert, or do I need to dismount?
Oh, it's one of those huge like party tents where it's like everyone like a huge pavilion basically. So it should be able to fit all types. He himself is a very big tortoise. So, you know, it is meant for all shapes and sizes.
I will stay on top of Bert and go into the tent.
Okay. So like I said, he's holding the flap open for you with his cane, and after all of you have filed in, he'll follow suit. And when you all are in the tent and the room has kind of adjusted for it to be a little bit on the darker side just because of the tent having its flaps down right now, they'll probably like roll them up later on tonight, but just to keep everything cool on the inside for anyone who needs a little bit of respite from party planning. And in the room you will find that there is already a little mouse. She basically looks like she's dressed as a gardener kind of thing. She looks like she literally just finished planting something and then came over to the party now. And Rem kind of looks at all of you and he's like, "Well, I'm sure all of you know, it's my birthday today. And I mean, either that or it's a very great Wednesday. So
Ha!
the
It is
only thing
Wednesday.
is, yes, it is Wednesday. Very, very astute of you to notice. But I I knew a group like you would possibly be willing to help me out on just a little extra favor. I know there's already a lot of stuff happening here, but I was hoping maybe there's one guest that might need some assistance to get here. And by assistance, I mean we might need to find them as well as bring them back. I don't know if all of you would be up to the task, but um, Hill eyes will get kind of distant for a second, and he'll just say, there's a small and forgotten god that back in my war days was a moment of peace for me, was somebody that, well, they're the goddess of a warm summer breeze, so I guess you could say they always made it a calming whenever I happened across them, I was always nice to have it was always nice to have a just moment of peace. And I want to see if we can find them and bring them for the party tonight. And I know that um they're over in a place called Bungalow Hollow, last I heard, and I think it would be good for them to be here. And I was wondering if all of you would be willing to do that before tonight.
Oh, us. Yeah.
Um, it's I know it's a big ask. It's a bit of travel for the day, but um you don't have to get me anything else. This could be considered my present for the evening. Um,
What if we already did?
oh, I didn't think of that.
It's fine.
Well,
It's fine. It's fine.
no. I will make sure that there is an extra special basket of just fresh fruit for all of you when we come back for the party later. I know everybody in this town. I can acquire like I can make sure that all of you are feasting well tonight at my party just to thank you for what you've done. You see, I'm too old to make the journey. It's a bit far, but um it would mean a lot.
I'm I'm there.
Of course.
Gutterball kind of, when the mention of fruit happened, uh, Gutterball kind of got like a little crazy eyes, and she's like, "Yes, fruit, yes. I mean, yeah, we're totally down."
Excellent. And then he'll kind of like remember that the mouse is still in the tent, and he'll almost like kind of take a step back to make sure that you can all see her. Um, I don't know if any of you have made that journey, but um, Piper here um, knows the way. She's a good guide. So if you want, she is at your disposal to assist you in finding the way. And you'll notice that Piper also does have a little firefly that's just kind of like hovering above her shoulder. Um, and she'll like take that moment to step up and be like, "Well, hello, hi. Sorry this was kind of throwing on all of you little last minute, but I think we can make the journey in time with plenty of time to be able to relax a little bit and maybe even take a nap before the party even starts." Um,
Half of us would
and
literally still be sleeping right now, so I think it's fine.
right, yeah, no, sorry, it won't be that bad of a journey, I promise. It's just you know, um, just a little trip over a lake and then through some fields and then through some trees and then a little marsh. That's easy. We can do that in a day.
It's never a bad trip when you're with good company.
That's my thought exactly. And you all seem like a good sort. And you realize you probably don't know Piper that well. Piper is somebody who is well traveled, so it basically means that she doesn't really stay in the village for too long. Um, she was probably actually called in specifically to be used as a guide in the situation. So, um, yes, yes.
Question.
Mhm.
How do we know that this goddess of summer wind is in Bungalow Hollow?
Rem will take a step up again and say, "Well, I don't know for certain, but the moths tend to prefer Bungalow Hollow. As a you know the and this is just me realizing I forgot to tell you all. in this world, moths are kind of like mailmen. Like they're the ones that kind of are like carrier pigeon kind of things. Like they help kind of carry messages from place to place. So usually they're good sources of information, but also like they travel around a lot. So Rem is basically going based off of what he's heard from some of these moths that they seem to gravitate towards Bungalow Hollow when they are off duty, or even just some of them probably don't even partake in the messenger service and kind of just like to hang out there, and that's just their home.
Gotcha. I thought you were saying that like the gust of wind wrote a letter or something, and I thought, well, that's odd. Like I didn't know breezes have hands, but that makes a lot more sense.
Well, she's the goddess of a warm summer breeze, but last time I remember seeing her, she at least was in the shape of a. She had a shape. And he kind
Oh,
of just trails off and doesn't really elaborate on like what kind of shape, just she existed and she could see him. Like he could see her. Um but yeah, the moths tend to be very valuable sources of information, so I think we have a good lead.
solid.
Well, okay then. Do any of you have any other questions, or should I get back to making sure that everything is being watched over?
I may
Okay.
have
Oh
missed.
no.
I may have missed this. It's kind of relaxing, rocking over here on Bert. But did we catch your friend's name?
Oh, oh yes. They called themselves Uthami. It's spelled Euthami for anyone who takes notes. Um, yeah, I haven't seen her in years, and he kind of like has that peaceful look on his face of like remembering something that he probably hasn't thought of for a while. Um, but if everyone else is all set, then there is observing to be done for party planning. And he'll kind of start moving towards the tent flap again. Um,
Cassius does step in his way and doesn't say anything, but just holds out the flower crown.
he sits there for a second and almost like doesn't register like, oh, this is for me. But then he'll have a moment of like, oh, oh my goodness, and he'll take it very like he'll offer his hands out very gingerly to accept it, and he very proudly puts it on, and he's like, oh, I've never felt so special on a birthday before. Thank you.
Wait, are we all giving our gifts
Everyone
now?
should feel special. I don't know if all of us should, but
Mine's
we could.
not
All of you
done.
probably have like your items on you, so if you want to just
Levi, give the stick. Levi,
Yes,
Levi, give the
yes.
stick.
Levi will pull the pine cone stick off of his back. Gutterball and I made this.
Handcrafted.
Handcrafted with glue I found in my drawer.
What?
well,
I thought you guys were-
Oh, glue. Like I thought you just had like a drawer, just like filled with glue, like a glue drawer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know I was thinking correctly. Okay. Sorry.
It holds more glue than a glue bottle.
That's true. You're not wrong. You're very smart, Levi. You're very smart.
Thank you. I should go to college.
Yeah.
Mine's not done. It should be done tonight. But it wasn't the morning sun kind of painting, it's more of an evening firefly kind of painting.
he's just looking at all of you give him these gifts, and he almost just looks like he's just heartwarmed. I truly feel like a king, and my party hasn't even started yet. And he kind of like holds the stick with the pine cone on top of it, almost like a staff, because now he has a crown and he has a staff. Um, and then so did you want to give the painting now, or is that something where you want to finish it first?
Give it later.
Okay. Okay. So he stands there with his flower crown and his staff, and well, this will make it much more fun to watch over the party planners. I'll feel like a true king, but don't worry, I won't let the power get to my head. That would be silly of me, but it's nice. It feels like a true birthday king. um and he'll kind of um again, like this time, he'll when he walks out of the tent, he almost like gingerly puts his head underneath the flap because he doesn't want to knock off his flower crown. And he goes off and he is proudly like he he kind of like almost puts the stick on his like he puts the stick with the sheath of his sword, like almost kind of like puts it into the belt next to it, and he has the stick instead, and he's kind of using it as like a walking stick, and he does look very regal. um and after he kind of walks out, Piper will say, "Well, should we get going? Want to make sure we can get back and still celebrate."
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Which way?
Oh, yeah, of course. She'll start walking out, and she'll kind of just like wait for all of you. She's holding the tent open for you now. And she is already pointing, like she holds the tent open with one hand and is pointing towards the lake with the other hand. She's like, "We could go across the lake, or we could also go just around the lake. It just depends on what you guys want to do." Um, but if you want, Alfred's Sunbeam has a nice little passage that just brings us right across. It's just a cute little boat that brings us across. Um, but if anyone doesn't like water, we can totally walk. That's okay.
Water.
Never been on a
I'm
boat before.
I'm always happy to take a swim.
You can go. Oh, if you want to swim across the lake, okay. Or you can be on the whatever you want to do. And she kind of gets a little flustered. She's just like, yeah. I'll. She just starts kind of like getting flustered and walks towards the lake and just is assuming you guys are gonna follow. Do all of you follow?
What? Once Levi has a sense of the direction that she is going, Levi is in a dead sprint.
I'm back onto
Incredible.
the bum of the bumble and just plop down on my belly.
I will
Um,
actually dismount now to give Bert a break, but I'm gonna scooch Franklin up further so that you are over the top of the bumble and not just like on its rear end behind me,
He just
so that you
goes
can see everything.
he just goes no bones and is just lying there.
uh, so you all make your way um towards the lake, which again, like I said, the oak is basically kind of pretty close to the lake. You can see the lake from it. Um and you see like this tiny little dock. And a goose that you're assuming is Alfred of Alfred's Sunbeam. Um just kind of almost waiting because he was told by a very anxious Piper that maybe he'll have passengers to bring across the lake, maybe he won't, but he wanted to make sure that he was prepared either way. And he'll see you coming, and he'll kind of straighten up as much as a goose can do, like like straighten up his neck, and will kind of ruffle his feathers a little bit to try to look like he wasn't just like slumping, just waiting, like he's alert and ready for passengers.
Hi, good morning.
Oh, um, and he starts counting all of you. All right, okay. will the bumbles be flying behind the boat or will they be on the boat?
The bumbles will fly. They enjoy it. Thank you for asking.
Of course, of course. All right. Well, I guess we'll get going, and it's not a long trip across the lake, but it'll be the you'll be able to face the mighty sunbeam and see it in all its glory. And he looks very proud of his it's basically just a nice little rowboat that would fit enough of you, but it's, he's very proud of it.
It's magnificent.
Thank you, thank you. I haven't had so many people on my on my humble vessel before, but I'm very excited to help. Rem is a good friend of mine, a good friend, and I'm happy to be of service. And he'll start fumbling with getting the like everything in order. All of you want to file onto the boat? Is there anyone that's everyone's okay with going on the boat?
Hey,
Cassius is definitely hesitating.
Okay.
He is definitely standing back at the dock, staring out at the water, and doing that thing that cats do, and they just kind of like rock back and forth.
hey,
Um
Cassius, you know how to swim?
Yes.
I just had to check. I think it's kind of the only requirement for going in the water.
There's nothing wrong with water. Water is fine.
Oh, good. Are you fine?
Sort of. Not really. But I will be. I'll be with all of you.
Oh, you probably didn't see me because I am super stealthy and super quiet, but I was painting you all morning, and I'll probably give that to you tonight when I've had some time to finish.
Thank you, Franklin.
Yeah, it'll be different than the other one. I think I really, really nailed it.
It feels that way already.
Just go up to like, because I imagine that Cassius is like twice the size of Franklin. Just goes up to like knee level, just gives him a hug, and then
Mhm.
just marches back towards the boat.
And the hug very much seems to settle Cassius down. He's still nervous, and he maybe almost causes the boat to overturn because he definitely does the like hesitating jump into it, and it almost ends in disaster, but it doesn't. So that's the important thing.
Can we like all tell that you're like a little nervous?
Oh, 100%. He's not trying to hide it.
Okay. Think Gutterball will be like, "Hey Cassius, don't you worry. I'll go ahead and swim so that you don't even have to like worry about it. Cause it's about time for Gutterball to have a shower anyway."
Thank you, Gutterball. That's also very kind.
Yeah,
um
Jun-
Gutterball.
Go ahead.
uh, Juniper would have been kind of hanging back, waiting for everybody else to go first since they're getting in the water, and would have called the Bumbles over to, with Bert in the middle and the other four around, kind of make a platform just in case Cassius was too scared to try and carry Cassius over. But seeing Cassius moving toward the boat, Juniper would take off their flannel because that one's not waterproof, but everything else is. And when Cassius goes and the boat starts to shake, Juniper intentionally like kind of butts against it to help steady it, and is just gonna kind of swim along it to help keep the boat steady in case Cassius gets scared.
you take off, there will be a moment where Piper almost kind of like elbows Alfred, and like you don't hear what she says, but she kind of like is like saying something with like the side of her mouth just to be discreet about it. And all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, that's right. Listen, I don't even need these, so it doesn't really even cross my mind, but does anyone want a life jacket?
What's that?
No, I'm good.
You
I'll actually like pull off my pack and cloak and my drawing book. Like, Levi, hold these,
Hmm?
and then just
Okay.
dive into the water.
Do you want these to follow you?
No, no, no.
Okay.
Coming up like behind them, just like splashing up out of the water, wet, with a desperate look on their face, all 8 legs like doggy paddling, is Oscar, the spider, who is my cat companion. Got that normal, like, wide-eyed wet cat look, and is just like doggy paddling back for the boat.
Levi will reach a hand down and scoop the cat spider up and just sort of put it on top of his head. You can sit up there so you don't get water on this book.
All 8 legs are just attached to your head.
Alfred will see all of you kind of like choosing to not be in the boat. And no, he's like, "Oh, well, this will make my job easier then." And if you wanted the life jacket, Cassius, he does have like varying sizes of like, he has like the tiniest little mouse one, and then like sizes up from that. So if you want a life jacket too, like he's still a boat person. He knows that that's something that might be needed. So.
And Cassius considers the life jacket and then just shakes his head and says, "It's not the water, it's the reflection."
Well, if you'd like, I can make sure I face you and we can have a nice, hearty conversation, focused in on each other. If that'll help distract so you don't look into the water.
And Cassius looks very conflicted because this sounds like his worst nightmare come to life. And then just says, "That is very kind of you, but I think you might want to be able to see where we're going. So that we don't
I know
get
this
turned
water
around."
like the back of my hand, but I get it. Don't worry. And he'll just start getting his oars ready and kind of just getting on the boat. I won't bother you at all. I'll be the silent boat driver.
Oh, wait. I have questions.
Well, all right. What are your questions?
How do boats work?
Well, I don't rightly know. I've never really thought about why things have to float. Some of them do, some of them don't. And
Magic.
obviously he's one of the ones that does just float in the water as a goose. So buoyancy. I have noticed it's certain materials you can't really make a boat out of really heavy, or you can't really make a boat out of wood that'll get soggy. You have to make it out of good wood and finish it. So I think that has something to do with it. And he'll kind of pat his boat and be like, "This one was made professionally by not me. But I'm very proud of it."
Oh, I think that's the person that made my front door.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember the name? I should probably give them credit where credit's due.
Not me.
You splash up from the side of the boat. You talking about not me, the penguin?
That's what a penguin is.
Oh, that's right. I did buy it from a penguin. Oh, I forgot about that fella. That was a nice penguin. You know, he's a better swimmer than I am, though. He can go underwater a lot for a lot longer than I can. I can only do quick little dive to find some fish, but he can just rocket under the water. I was always jealous of that. Maybe that's why I bought a boat. And if everyone is in the boat, he's gonna start rowing. Just he'll talk as he rows. Did you have other questions?
Oh, yeah. What You like the water, right?
Do you?
And well, I don't like being wet personally. I don't mind it. But like, I'll go for a swim sometimes. Why do you have a boat?
Well, to help people who don't like to swim as much as I do cross.
Oh, that makes sense.
I like to share my love of the sea. Well, the lake. But if there are people that don't like to swim or don't float as easily as I do, then I want to help them. Also, some people get tired a lot faster. I can fly and I can swim, but some people can't fly over the water.
I get very tired when I try to fly.
Oh, yes, yes, it's and hence the boat. He just did not register the joke at first, and he's like, but it's also just nice to not have to do the work too, and just go out in the boat in the middle of the water and just. Well, I like contemplating in the water, but that's just me. I know that's not for everyone, so it's just to make it easier for everybody that so chooses.
Is contemplating easier when you're wet?
I do rightly have lake thoughts. Like those weird thoughts that just you don't really need to think of, like it's stuff that probably isn't helpful in the real world, but just something that comes to me randomly while I'm just contemplating in the water. I've tried to compile a book of them. Lake thoughts. But it got waterlogged.
Oh yeah. I'm told books aren't supposed to be wet.
I wish someone had told me that earlier. He'll keep rowing.
Levi will turn to Juniper and Franklin. Are you guys having lake thoughts?
Flashback up. I live on a lake. I think all of my thoughts count as lake thoughts.
Wow. What did you think about today?
Flowers? Colors? Breakfast?
Breakfast is a good
Flashback
lake
down.
thought.
Gutterball is singing his lake thoughts, which you just see like this little swimming, and then Gutterball's just going, "It's a lake party and we're swimming in the lake, gonna cross it really slow, but that's fun, it's okay."
Levi plays
Just-
along on his ocarina.
Yes! Just like right next to the boat, just like singing that over a few times.
Adorable.
Incredible.
Yeah, so after a while, I think Alfred will just kind of like, he'll almost get into that little like, do that little head bobbing thing of just like, this is nice. Listening to the music, and he's rowing along, and unless anyone else wants to do anything, eventually you will reach the other side of the lake where he has a similar dock to the one that you just departed from. And he'll pull up, he'll dock. There will be like he's a pro at what he does, so he pulls up, he starts tying the boat to the dock, and offers a wing out to anybody who wants help getting from the boat onto the dock. And you guys don't have to take it if you don't want to. He's doing it more so for show than like actually knowing that he can like be helpful with his wing, but it's a nice gesture at least.
Franklin just pops up dock, shakes up all the water out.
Having
So go, go, go.
I was just gonna say, having heard Cassius say that it was the reflection, Juniper will stand to their full height, and that little like um, hovering surface of bees will kind of go vertical on Cassius's other side, so that Cassius doesn't see the water. And Juniper is not taller than a tiger, but Juniper is trying.
That is the sweetest thing ever. My god. Yes. Cassius could still see the water over Juniper's head, but he appreciates the gesture.
Levi does a proper like raccoon scurry onto the dock.
Gutterball also gets out of the lake and right next to Franklin. And as soon as Franklin like shook off to get all the water off, a larger Gutterball will shake off right next to Franklin. So you're all wet again. Didn't mean to, just like that's what happened.
Shake again. Shake my entire desk.
You want your spider back?
Oh yeah, Oscar, sorry about that. Got your back there. Throw the cloak and the pack back on. Grab the book. All right. Pepper? It was Pepper, right?
If you want, you can call me Pepper. It is Piper.
Oh, sorry, Piper.
But that's okay. I'd probably answer to both anyway. So we just have to start walking, and she'll point, and basically on the other side it's another like kind of open field with some hills on the side, and another set of like kind of flower fields off to one side, kind of just like speckling the hillsides. Um and she'll be like, yeah, so we're just gonna walk there for a little bit, and then there's some woods that we'll see once we kind of get around the hill a little bit more, um and then we're there. And she'll kind of just start like she'll start walking, and then she'll like turn around and do like the tour guide walk of like checking to make sure everyone's still in the group and everything. Is everyone out of like everyone's out of the boat? Everyone's okay? Cassius, are you? Yeah, okay. She'll
Yep, as
say,
soon as Cassius got on the dock, he was good.
okay, perfect. Um so yeah, so she'll do kind of the tour guide thing, and be telling you a little bit about like so I've done a lot of adventuring in my day, and I'm really happy to meet all of you. It seems like you guys are a really great group. I'm sorry to have kind of been thrown in here with all of you, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to get Uthami back and ready for the party as soon as possible. So and then she'll turn around, and she like has her own little walking stick that she fashioned just out of like it's a smaller stick than the one that you guys gave to Rem, because she's a tiny little mouse. So she's walking, and she's kind of probably walking a little bit faster than the rest of you. But then again, some of you might have longer legs, so you could probably take less strides but still keep up with her. So yeah, so you're basically walking towards a hill with some little flowers on the side, and or like little flowers speckling the mountainsides. And you'll make it like probably partway around the hill where you're about to start being able to see the forest. Um when you get bumped into by these two little rabbits. They're just running around. They're like tiny, they're like little baby rabbits, so they're just kind of running around. Cassius might not even see them because they're so tiny and kind of just like scamper past really quickly. And you hear one of them saying, like, do you know what album means by this? I don't understand. What are we supposed to be doing here? And you kind of hear like the clink of little jars that they have like on a belt around their they're both wearing like belts and they have little jars of varying like some of them are empty, some of them have little like herbs in them and everything like that, and they're just kind of scampering around trying to they're basically heading towards like different patches of flowers, and they're almost like zigzagging between like little areas of flowers, just talking about like, I don't get what we're supposed to be doing. And they barely even notice you because they're just honed in.
Franklin will like take a little bit of a running start and then just, face first kind of leap into the grass and then do like that face first slide up to them. What are you doing?
It's in the flowers. Oh,
Yeah.
Hi. We're just trying to do stuff for our classes. What are you doing down there?
I think at this point, Levi will follow along with the sort of dive, but just dives face first into the dirt and slides up next to Franklin.
We're looking for Umami, the old god of wind. I don't know if you've seen any old gods around here, but she's a shape, and
I know someone who's old, but I don't know if they're an old god. I think they're just our teacher. I think they're just a normal owl. But I'm assuming you're probably gonna want to go into the forest, and they'll like point with like their entire body like to the forest. They're like, if you're looking for something specific, I'm assuming it's probably not going to be in an open field, or else you probably would have found it by now. So probably all the way over there in the forest. I don't know about a new mommy specifically though.
Yeah.
I hope you find him.
Yeah. Are you? What kind of flowers are you looking for?
I don't know. Our teacher Alba kind of just told us. We've been working on herbalism things, and all of a sudden today he just sent us out, and he was like, go find out why how flowers can make people happy. But I don't really get it. We've learned how like different we learned how like lavender can help with stress, and we learned how I have things for this. Oh my gosh. And we learned how marigolds can help with like if someone has a wound, and we learned like all these things, and I don't understand how these flowers specifically are supposed to help make happiness. And he like again is kind of fiddling with the different he has like the little jars on his belt, and he's like pulling one out, and he's like, see, like this one helps with your like vitamins and stuff like that, like all the good things, like you put it in your tea and it's healthy and it's good for you. But like flowers that make happiness, like what am I supposed to do with that?
I have something in my pouch, but if I give it to you, can't eat it, and you can't set it on fire. But it does make people happy.
They get like this little sparkle in their eye, and they're like, wait, are you gonna help us cheat with Alba's lesson for the day?
It's not cheating. It just exists around here most of the place.
He's a substitute teacher.
Him?
Yeah.
Who?
Franklin knows lots about flowers.
Tell us.
Like, pull out a pouch of dried plant. And just like hand him a little bit, like it does. It's just give it to your teacher, and don't set it on fire.
Giving the little bunny children weed.
It is a herbal supplement that, when lit on fire, can produce a happiness effect.
Hoop, you gave the children the weed.
This is a wholesome game, and that's wholesome fun. There's nothing more
You
wholesome
know-
than being.
You know, the funny thing is that when I was making this part of this, that is not what I was expecting was gonna happen.
I saw it too. I saw Hoop over there do this and go, and I was like, what's happening? What's cooking? What's cooking in the brain?
Okay, so
Nice.
you hand these two little bunny children weed. Dried herb. And they look at it and they're like, So how does this make you happy again?
Your teacher will know.
No, see, Alba wants us to explain our work. And I feel like if we just come up to him and say that he'll know and not actually have any reason for why we think it'll make him happy, I don't know if he'll accept that.
Then you don't want this. This is
Do you have to show your work?
Yeah, how else are you supposed?
Oh, wait.
Do you take like? Have you ever heard of Alba? Alba's a very specific, like, very thorough teacher. He wants to know exactly why you came to the answers you did.
I've
And
never
they're
heard
like,
of anybody.
well, you've heard of me. My name is Barnabas. So you can't say that anymore. Ha!
Well, I've met you now. I haven't just heard of you.
Well, this is Sprite, so you've heard of him.
Just Sprite, just now. Franklin, are these flowers edible?
yes.
Levi starts picking as many flowers as he can.
Oh, okay, not the dried herb. Okay, cool.
No.
Last
I
thing
was
needed-
afraid of that for a moment.
You know,
The
it's like,
last
flowers
thing I
on the
need is for
ground.
all of you to listen. I want you all to have a good, relaxing time, but weed isn't the answer here.
Wait, I totally know how you could show your work. Can I see it?
See what?
The happy the happy plant.
The one that Franklin has taken back because the children.
Oh, I thought you. Well, okay, it'll work with this flower too.
and Gutterball's just gonna like pick up a flower and be like, see, this is how you show your work, right? And Gutterball's just gonna look at it and go,
See?
Levi thinks that is the funniest thing he's ever seen.
I mean, I don't know how else to show your work other than that. That's pretty.
and then Gutterball will hand the flower to the bunnies.
The
Juniper-
flower or the okay, this is the flower, correct?
This is the flower. Yeah, just picked it.
Okay.
Oops, thing
They're
is an
looking at the
herbal
flower.
supplement.
Yes, the flower. This is the very clear distinction here.
Mhm.
So they look at the flower, and they like sit there and they just try to just like, okay, be happy, be happy. Yeah, this is making me know it's not working.
Don't
Did
worry.
it was
Be happy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's it.
worry if Alba's not gonna give us like Alba's such a good teacher, but like he likes things a certain way, and we just want to make sure we can do the thing. And then they're just like, there's a moment where they kind of like look out all of a sudden, and because they basically just look out, and if any of you follow where they're looking, you'll see like a tiny little cottage that you didn't even really notice was there, and you see just like this little owl just sitting on a rocking chair, kind of like watching them from a distance, but like not actually like being active in any way, shape, or form, just kind of like just rocking there, has a little glass of lemonade, and they'll see you guys waving and they're like, what are you doing?
Maybe not that guy.
That's Alba. Alba, listen, you guys, and they'll sit there and they're like not sure if this counts as cheating on their like assignment thing, so they're just like getting flustered.
Wait. This is even better. We can all pick up a flower and you can take us over to Alba and then we'll all smile at the flowers and then that's like extra credit, honestly.
Do I have to smile at mine?
Well,
Yeah.
as long as we can prove that it made someone happy, yeah.
Make me happier if
that
I-
might. What?
It'll make me happier if I eat it.
Well, we can give him multiple things and see if it works. Like, you were happy because you ate it. You were happy because you looked at it. Like, oh. And Sprite kind of just like sits there for a second. He's like, is he trying to say that the flowers aren't something we need to use as like an herbalism thing and just like they're just pretty? And he looks at the flower and he's like, it is really pretty.
Flowers were the friends we made along.
Franklin thinks we're flowers.
I mean, yeah, didn't you all just make different colored, like you're Franklin the flower, Cassius the flower. You can all be different types of flowers, you know? Instead of raccoons and tigers, and you could be a peony or a tulip.
Perfect.
And he sits there and he's just like, he was trying to make a point.
That's what teachers do.
Yeah, well, we spent all morning out here looking for how to like turn it into some kind of like potion or concoction or something that'll make people happy, and now all he wants is to just actually have us look there and be like, I picked flowers today, I'm happy now.
Sounds
And they're
like you
kinda sitting-
learned.
You know, I guess so.
Nice.
So okay. And Barnabas will look at Sprite and be like, okay, so we need to go over there and just tell him that stopping to smell the flowers is like good for the soul and stuff. And I'm assuming that's probably the answer he wanted, I think, maybe. Unless all of you still want to come along and show him that it made you happy too.
Well, we're kind of looking for, a god
Oh,
and
yeah, umami, right?
yeah, umami.
Okay. Well, one of the bunnies will do like that like little kid like wave with their whole hand, be like, okay, well, thank you for the help, I guess.
Welcome. Lighting face first down the hill.
And they're already like darting away from you as quickly as possible. Like like I said, they little bunnies just they go back to Alba and they're kind of just like they took like a little bundle of flowers in each of their hands and they just start running back towards him.
Before they go, could
Yeah.
Cassius give each of them a little flower crown? Because that's what Cassius has been doing while
Uh-huh.
he's been watching all of this, is just weaving together 2 little bunny-sized flower crowns.
See, so this is something that I was thinking was going to happen with this prompt. Absolutely, you can. They'll look at them and be like, they will actually like sit there for a second and almost not be like, you've heard them talking a mile a minute, and then all of a sudden they actually sit there for a second and they just genuinely smile and they're like, I think I get it. And Barnabas will put the flower crown on his head, and then Bright is gonna kind of just like put it sideways, like over one ear, so it's kind of like wearing the hat sideways kind of thing.
Yes.
And then yeah, and then like I said, they'll go scurry back to Alva to share all the new things they just learned from their new flowers friends, the flowers they met along the way. You know the story. Um,
While all of this was happening, um, when Franklin pulled out the herb, you would have just heard Juniper in the background. Oh no. But Juniper is not interrupting. Um, and when Barnabas introduced themselves, you would have seen one Bumble kind of push their way through the group. And this is Petunia and Barnaby, because Petunia has two heads. And so it is Petunia and Barnaby. And so when Barnabas introduced themselves, Petunia immediately was like, oh my, we have to meet them. And so even as they're skipping off, Petunia and Barnaby are just floating through very excitedly trying to hang out with Barnabas. But also while this is happening, Juniper is watching Cassius weave together these flower crowns and is like watching very expertly. Juniper is like trying to figure out what Cassius is doing. Um, I don't want to interrupt Cassius, but can you tell me how you do that?
Well, I just take the stems and I weave them together, and they all support each other. And that allows it to have the structural integrity it needs.
That is beautiful. And Juniper is going to pull out a little bandana and is going to hold it out to Cassius and say, I want to cover this with a flower, with many flowers. And it is a little patch that this is my one to let go of that I did in character creation. Um, but Juniper has an emblem that shows his high rank in the Shepherd's Guild, and he wants to cover it in flowers, and that be the gift for Franklin. After seeing everybody give Franklin. It could be a gift for Franklin, but it's not Franklin's day. I glanced at Hoop as soon as I started saying that sentence. That Juniper wants that to be their gift to Rem. So along the way, every time Cassius stops to weave together a flower crown, Juniper is right there trying to figure out how to cover the patch in flowers.
And Cassius will definitely help Juniper with that and help to figure out how to get the flowers to stay on the patch.
Um, Juniper's little claws are not going to be very cooperative, and it's probably going to look really shoddy by the end. But you know what? Again, Juniper is trying his best. That's all he's here to do.
Wholesome, wholesome. Just screaming that the entire game.
Does anyone else want to do anything before we start going again?
Levi is offering flowers to the bumbles to eat.
Okay.
They're absolutely chowing down, and Levi is probably getting tripped up by Albie, who is Levi's BFF, even if Juniper doesn't always approve. Albie is the youngest and most excitable and is super stoked that Levi is handing out free things.
I saved you the yellow ones.
Eats
Holds
them
up
all
a
up very
patch of
quickly.
pink.
I'm horribly colorblind.
After everyone kind of is starting to do their own thing and everything, there'll be a moment where you kind of remember that Piper exists again.
Yeah,
Because
Pepper.
she was just like sitting, she was kind of just like sitting cross-legged in the grass, and after Barnabas and Sprite like kind of started moving away, she was kind of sitting there almost like just sunbathing a little bit because she has a bunch of siblings. So having like a bunch of little kids around like just talking really hyperly at them, she isn't really like phased by it. So she was kind of just like being zen and just taking a second cuz we're taking a moment of rest for the journey onward. And at the end kind of when everyone is starting to, the kids are running away and everything, she'll be like, "Well, um that was mighty nice of you guys to help those kids out, but should we get going?" Cool. And she'll start walking again. She's like, I can't believe that um those kids must have been sitting there collecting flowers in their little pouches and just not even like just science mindset the whole way through. Kids do the darndest things. And she's again just still walking at that like just constant pace, keeping going. Um,
Love from like just to go sliding, face first down the hill through the flowers, eventually hitting like a larger patch, and pollen just poofs up. And I'm just waiting for Gutterball to come walking by and get close enough, like tucked down in the flowers.
so quick question for the party really fast. Do we want to go around the hill or do we want to go up and back down the hill? Because if we go up and back down, then you can absolutely like that would probably get you more momentum if we're like
Oh,
at the
up
top
and
of the hill
down,
just
yeah.
One
all
of
right.
Levi's favorite activities is sprinting up hills.
Okay.
That sounds good. Gutterball totally didn't see where you went and will totally walk right next to you. The lake song, the lake thought song is probably still in their head. Blair has forgotten what it was, but Gutterball knows. And so it's just kind of doing that like what is it? Baloo from the Jungle Book kind of had that little like dance walk type thing. Just kind of doing like that.
Absolutely covered in pollen, just from head to tail. Just wait until Gutterball gets close enough and then leap out into a flying otter hug so that when he impacts, it's almost like that cartoon outline of a person just in the shape of pollen.
Gutterball definitely has it's like a big possum mouth. Whenever Franklin like jumps out, it's like yeah, just straight up like that. Do you jump? Where did you just jump to do the
Like
outline?
midsection, yeah.
Okay, I was like,
Ah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Hold that for a second for me. Grabbing out some pouches and like scraping the pollen back off into the pouch. Thanks.
You don't want the rest of it?
Yeah, you can have it.
I'll take some.
Okay.
Gutterball's just gonna like walk with hands out, just like
Uh, here.
Levi will scrape as much off as he can and eat it.
Does it taste good?
Tastes sweet, but damp.
Gutterball's just gonna like
Is damp a
like
flavor? Or is it just the inside of your mouth that's damp?
Now that's a lake
Oh,
thought right there.
you
that
know
is a like
what?
that.
That might be it.
Hmm.
Does anyone else need pollen? Bees!
The bumbles are flocking, but watching all of this Juniper again, just oh no, as Juniper gestures the bumbles over to consume all the pollen.
Yes.
Hey,
Gutterball's just gonna be like a walking like a walking snack, just like
hey,
tickles.
hey, June. You mind if I hitch a ride?
Absolutely. And Bert Bert's kind of slow, but Bert's gonna head on over and not land, but yeah, get close to the ground.
Climb up and just boneless, otter boneless pose.
Okay, so some of you walking with Bumbles very close behind, some of you on top of Bumbles, some of you just keeping pace, following towards the tree line. I feel like now would probably be a good time to take a break before the forest comes into view. So everyone will be back in about 10 minutes, and we will continue our very wholesome adventure that I barely even need to do anything for. I kind of just direct them like, okay, you're going through a forest now, and we see what shenanigans this group gets up to. So
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We just all got snacks, drinks, did everything we needed to do, and now we are back to being wholesome little woodland creatures that are going towards a forest known as Evergreen. Where we last left off a few minutes ago, we have people riding on bumbles, we have people that are covered in pollen, so the bumbles are very interested in them. And Piper the mouse is our firelight is just trekking around. At one point, I do think that when she saw everyone kind of diving around in the flowers, I think at the very tail, like closer to the bottom of the hill, I think she was just like, why not? And she also does a little tuck and roll down the rest of the way just to speed things up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then she'll get up and kind of brush herself off and be like, "Oh, you guys are fun to adventure with." And then again, just starts taking off in the same speed she was. If anyone needs a rest, let me know. I just want to make sure that we can make everything on time. And she's just kind of one of those little, like, anxious busybodies, so, you know, you'll have to be like, "Hey, seriously, stop for a second." What was that?
I'm good.
Okay. Good. So I think it seems like compared to what Barnabas and Sprite said, and then all of the moths that Rem talked to, seems like we're going in the right direction. This is good. And so the tree line is starting to come more into sight, and it is a pretty dense looking forest. It's one of those ones where you know that, like, once you get in there, it'll probably kind of be a little bit darker because there's so many trees. Like, the canopy of all of them will probably block out a little light. But, you know, you have your little, Piper has a firefly with her. I never told you guys, but her, the firefly's name is Ani. So that's kind of just been buzzing around, and again, probably at some points, like, kind of trying to, like, feel out who the bees are, and, like, trying to see if they're friendly, and then maybe, like, anxiously zipping back to her mom, just, like, kind of, like, what's the vibe kind of thing. But yeah, so you're approaching a tree line to a forest. And unless anyone tries to stop her, Piper's just gonna keep walking pretty confidently in the direction of Bungalow Hollow, which is where we're told to go. So she'll start kind of walking, and again, just keeping pace, going around trees. She's doing like that, like what people call the ADHD walk, where, like, if there's something in her path, she just kind of moves her hips around it instead of actually, like, going around, kind of thing. So she just, like, if there's a tree branch, she just walks like that a little bit, moves her hips if there is, like, a low branch that's in her way, and then eventually you will, you'll kind of come to a little bit more of an opening, after maneuvering through some trees for a little bit, and you will see what looks like kind of a smaller little gathering, festival, just a group of people that all seem to be standing around this one little, like, mossy covered shrine. They all kind of look like they're in their own little groups, so you guys can choose to keep going if you want to. You can choose to see what they're up to. Does anyone have anything?
Hey, Levi.
What? Yeah, what?
You see them?
I do? With my eyes.
Who are they?
Levi will get down on all fours and scurry over to them. Just, like, pick whatever the closest group is as quickly as you can.
Mm-hmm.
We'll sort of just kind of scuttle up to them.
Yeah, so I will say that I accidentally said people, because usually we do play games with people, but they're not people. I realized it would be easier to explain that, you know, like, they're moths, and, like, different, like, kind of, almost like marshy type animals. Like there's little frogs, there's moths kind of like lazily flying in the air above. And like some little deer, basically kind of like deep forest type animals that you probably wouldn't see just like walking around in someone's backyard. Do you try to get anyone's attention, or are you just trying to like listen into what they're talking about?
No, Levi can't shut up for longer than 5 minutes at a time. So he scurries up to them. He goes, "Hi, what you doing?"
Hi. Oh, sorry. Are you here? Are you here to celebrate?
We're celebrating a birthday.
I think it's a birthday. For us, we're celebrating oh, I wrote it down. 1 second. Oh no. We're celebrating the anniversary of the matriarch of the moths. Um, is that something you're familiar with
I'm not familiar with anything.
at all? Not even the people behind you?
That depends. What's familiar mean?
Um, familiar, it means that you know it. You've heard of it. You
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know stuff. I know them. Those are my friends.
Hello. Um, I'm trying to decide what type of animal you're talking to right now. I'm gonna say it's a kind of like a mama bear type. Um, and she's kind of just like trying to figure out, what you're doing. If you're gonna participate, then, like she'll make sure she like introduces you to all the little festivities and everything. Um, so every year around this time, we celebrate the matriarch of the moths. Um, None of us have ever met her, obviously. More of a in a remembrance of. Um, I don't know if you've noticed, but this forest has kind of been home to the moths ever since this folklore, or maybe it's a real thing, but supposedly back in the day there was a matriarch of the moths that claimed this as the home of the moths. And it's just something that we've come to understand and come to know, and we want to thank her for bringing us such a hearty ecosystem. So if you want to participate, we, do little offerings. It is, it's a day of remembrance, but in a happy way. We're not all sad and solemn about it, but we just want to make sure that they feel remembered.
It's important to remember people who have died.
Yes, I agree. So what would you and your friends like to um you could make an offering, or even just say
Mm,
something at the shrine.
One moment. And Levi will get back down, scurry back over to his friends. Hey, they're remembering the matron of the moths here, and that bear woman. I forgot to ask for her name because I was very engrossed in what she was saying to me. Wants to know if we'd like to leave an offering or say something to the shrine, which I imagine is that rock in the middle with the moss on it.
Like, say what?
Mm, didn't ask.
Hey, June, you're good at saying stuff. You want to say stuff about the moth matron they're remembering?
How lush is this forest?
Um, so it is definitely a little bit darker in here because the canopy of trees is pretty intricate. So there's a lot of greenery. around. But like I said, this is just a little bit more of a clearing, so there is a little bit more light. Is that kind of what you were looking for?
Yeah, yeah. So Juniper is not actually with the group. Juniper is going over. You would see him walk up to a tree and kind of look down at the ground and then look all the way up and would either say, "No, no, no, not this one," and then walk to the next and do the same thing and say, "Yeah, yeah, this one's okay," and does not hear you, is going tree by tree around the whole circle.
Juniper seems distracted,
I
like me.
Hey, Cass.
Yeah,
You're good at saying stuff. You want to say stuff in remembrance of the moth matron?
to the rock in the
Yeah,
middle.
yeah, that one.
Yes.
Cool.
I could try.
I don't.
Yeah, I could try.
I think it's best for someone wise to say it. And usually, wise people are quieter, like you, because they have less questions to ask because they already know the answers.
That's a very wise statement, Levi.
Yeah.
Levi sort of falls over at this and is very clearly deep in thought.
So I will say that at if any of your characters would have probably like even heard of a concept like this, like you don't have to say anything specifically about the the matriarch. It's something where it's like it's a day of remembering, so it could also just be something that you want to remember. Your offering could be just a memory, like a happy memory. Um, it's just a day for contemplation, basically, is what you kind of get as a vibe from everybody. It's um there are still, people with food, and it looks like the kids are all running around and probably not fully aware of what the occasion is. It doesn't seem like it's one of those like very hushed things. Um, it's a celebration of life kind of thing. It's just being there, and you don't have to participate if you don't want to. Like I said, I think Nella was the name of the bear. Nella was very willing to just say, "Do you want to?" If not, you can also go ahead on your way.
Did you say that there were snacks?
Yes, there are snacks.
All right. So whenever the conversation of like who was gonna say something was happening, Gutterball totally did like a was like intently listening and then was just like led through and goes down just like beelines towards the snack table and is like,
Beeline.
Excuse me. Excuse
but it's like
excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry.
and it's just gonna like sit down and is like eating. Are they are they this is why it's hard to say. Are they moth themed snacks or just snacks?
Just snacks.
Okay. I
what
trying to
would
get a
what would a moth themed snack be out of
well,
What a
curiosity?
okay, so you know
question. What a
you know
question.
you
Mothballs.
know the oh yes, mothballs is good. Or
No,
like
no, I thought mothballs were to get the moths to not go on clothes, so it was a deterrent.
well, it's like cotton candy, but it looks like a mothball.
Poorly thought out joke.
No. Or
What?
like ants on a log. Have y'all seen that little like kid snack that they
Yeah.
it's like that
Mhm.
except it's like a moth. So it's like
Moth on a bowl.
celery with peanut butter and then like pretzels and then like potato chips that makes the wings. It's just a whole table of those. And cotton candy balls because I can't think of any other moth themed snacks.
Like, no, so yeah, no, you nailed it exactly. That was they have those exact things laid out right in front of you.
Good to
Um
know we share a vision. I like that. That's great.
well, okay. So one good thing about Wanderhome 2 is that
Yep.
we can build the world together. So part of what like this ceremony right now is actually one of the things for people that are watching that have never played Wanderhome. Wanderhome is actually supposed to be GM-less, and everyone is supposed to kind of collaborate with different things. So during session 0, we did actually try to come up with a few things that everyone would like to see. It was off of a list that was in like the specific season of Wanderhome, for like or the season we're in Wanderhome. But this is supposed to be collaborative, so absolutely, like if you're saying there's moth themed snacks and you were able to just think of those off the bat, fantastic. There they
Awesome.
are, right in front of you.
Gutterball's just plopped down and is just like picked up one of them and is just like eating a moth, like just like watching a moth snack. Sorry, let me preface. Um, and it's just like watching everybody, and it's just like we'll just kind of like cartoon nom 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 nom. Pick up another one, nom 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 nom. It's just having a good time.
Yeah, so everyone like it seems like there are different groups of people. Some of them are just chatting, some of them are almost kind of doing little like running little games and stuff like that. Still like again, celebration. So not sad or anything like that. So yeah, you're just watching as like a little kid is doing that hoop stick game, you know? Like and just like kind of playing around with that. And um is anyone else doing anything while we're here?
Franklin is currently painting.
I mean, Cassius is going to step forward. Yeah,
Sure.
Cassius is definitely going to step forward and say something. It helps that it's not like a public spectacle and
Yeah,
not everyone is going to be staring at him. So I think once he realizes that, he looks slightly more relaxed and
absolutely. So I
moves
will say that
forward.
sorry. I will say that
Yeah,
when you
no.
approach the shrine, it just like nothing in particular, but for some reason when you step closer to it, it almost does just seem like everything else does melt away behind you. Almost kind of like it is one of those moments where it's supposed to be like a private thing. So you don't know if that's just, how you feel because you've zoned in on this thing, or if it's some kind of strange magic surrounding it. But it almost just seems like it is just you and whatever this shrine is meant to encompass.
And that feels so very comforting to Cassius that he can just sort of be in his own world in this moment and have a chance to express remembrance for what this day is meant to represent and others that might be lost. And if others can hear him speak, don't recognize the language that he's speaking in, but what he is saying is, it seems I was meant to be here on this day to be able to offer remembrance, not just for you, but for others who have been forgotten. For all of the people and the places and the gods, to make sure that their light can still shine brightly. To make me remember that even though I don't have the home that I once did, that doesn't mean I can't have a home in the future. Thank you for gifting me this.
And when you finish that, you you kind of like, do you like try to touch the shrine at all? Do you Okay. When you put your hand on the shrine, it just like it almost just sends like, when you drink a cup of tea and like you just have that moment when you're cold, and then all of a sudden you like swallow the tea and it just feels like warmth just spreads throughout your entire body. You basically have that when you like touch it. And um it's almost kind of like a thank you for going up and saying something that was vulnerable for you. And Um, your character probably just feels a little bit more confident, or at the very least just reassured in themselves with that kind of confirmation. Um, and when you do decide to, you can take as long as you want, but when you do decide that you want to stand up and kind of start working back towards the group, you will notice that not a single person is looking at you. Nobody was trying to listen in. It was almost like you were just in your own little bubble during that moment.
There is a moment as Cassius feels that comfort and that confidence where it shows as he reaches up and takes off the mask. And there is the briefest of seconds where it looks like he's going to place it on the rock. But then he looks at what is carved in there and the fact that he does still remember the face that this mask is modeled off of. And he's not ready to let that go. And so he just tucks that into his pocket, but he walks back to the group with his hood off and the mask off as well.
I don't know what you said, but it was beautiful.
Thank you, Franklin.
Hope you don't mind. I sketched it a little bit. Uh, Feels like one of those trips where you
I don't
kind of
mind
want
at
to
all.
remember things.
And that is the whole point of the day that you're in as well. If any of you do try to go up to any of the goers, you will. Again, this is something that so many years have passed since this matriarch has been around, or supposedly been around. Again, some people are just thinking maybe it was folklore, but they do see that there are moths that seem to gravitate towards this place. So how untrue can it be? Um, but if there are any people that do try to talk to them, you will hear some kind of story that they are willing to offer up in return, whether it's something they heard about the matriarch, or one of those like, this is where I was when I remember first hearing about it, or understanding the meaning of what this matriarch did with bringing so many moths to a place that they can now call home. Um, and for those of you who aren't interested in that, there are moth snacks and and a lot of trees to look around at.
Gutterball will bring every one of you a moth snack, by the way. After Gutterball gets his fill of moth snacks, then.
Mm-hmm. Before we left, Franklin would run up to the rock, pull out a pouch, look through like a good 2 dozen different coins, find one, like just kind of tuck it there on the ground next to the rock. There you go, Mom. Gives a thumbs up to the sky and then runs back.
Um, you have like that little. Is there anything that you think as like a symbol for your mom? Would you think?
Maybe there's a bunch of them. Everything in that sketchbook.
Okay. Um, After you put down the offering on the shrine, um, you get inspired with a new painting that it'll stick in your mind, so you don't need to make it right now. It's almost like something that was just like sent to you, of just like colors that are so vibrant, and like it almost seems like you haven't even seen this place before. It just doesn't even seem real, but you just get this flash of something that you feel like you will want to paint eventually.
I'm back on the Bumble.
Were you were you on the Bumble the entire time?
Oh yeah.
So you know how to steer this Bumble then.
I assume it's just going.
It j-
Bert
but
is
it
Bert's probably pretty attuned to what Franklin wants, so has a general sense, but Bert's gonna do what Bert's
Yeah.
gonna do.
We might wander off the trail for like 20, 30 feet, but we'll eventually make our way back.
was just because Bert wanted to like see a little patch of flowers
Mhm.
over there, or just got a little distracted, and I was like, oh, that's right. Is
It-
there anything else? Sorry, go ahead.
June! Hey, any of you seen June?
June, are you still on the trees or on the tree
Ju-
line?
June is still looking at trees, probably like in the direction of that the group is moving, but is still no, no, that one's not any good. Going
Well,
down
so
the
right
line.
now everyone has kind of had a moment of pause. So you don't need to worry about, as long as you can find the clearing again, which would be easy to like see the differentiation between like dense forest and opening, you can go wherever you'd like until you find the perfect tree that you're looking for.
I would probably finally settle on one. And what June is doing, June lives by a rule that you should never sleep under a tree with too many leaves. And so June is trying to figure out which is the best one to take a nap. And I finally settle on one and I look up to tell my friends and I'm like, "Oh no. I used all my nap time looking for a tree." And so I'll start toddling after, a little sleepy, so my eyes are kind of closed, and as I catch up, I'll say, "Franklin, can I ride on Bert with you? I'm a little tired."
Hold out a tiny little paw, which is in no way big enough to hoist you up.
I will still put my hand on it briefly and then put my hand on Bert to hoist myself up so I don't accidentally pull Franklin off. And if Franklin's in the front, June will sit in the back and is definitely kind of doing that, nodding off and trying to wake themselves back up.
He's just
Would a
flipping
moth snack
through.
help?
What did you say, Gutterball?
Would a moth snack help?
Oh, any gift from you, Gutterball, will help. What do I get?
Dun 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 dun. Dun. It's one of the, well, it's one of the two. Actually, I bet Gutterball brought you each a one of the ant log moth snacks, and then also a mothball. So there was only two options.
Thanks, Gutterball. And Juniper will eat the log the way that you see rabbits inhaling all of the food
Nice.
really quickly, just like continuous bite until it's all gone. And then they're
Correct
just gonna
way to eat it. That's yeah.
then they're
Perfect.
just gonna hold the
Um,
mothball for a snack down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I think before they like depart, Cassie's called Levi wise. Levi wants to do something wise to prove it to Cassius that he's definitely wise. So he's gonna approach the stone and pull out his ocarina and begin playing a little tune. Um, I won't sing because I don't know if my mic's set up for that right now.
You're about to play
But
the
it
Song of Storms.
no, not that kind of ocarina hoop. I'm sorry. Um, it so Levi, it's a song that his parents used to play to him before the war when he was just a wee baby. And it's a bit sad in nature when he plays it. But he does just spend and play the whole thing before he returns to the bee to get his moth snack.
I just want to say, screw all of you, but I love you. You all have this like deep ass lore where I made a fucking trash gremlin. So
Brilliant.
love you guys. This is amazing, but also screw you. I'm gonna sit over here and eat my invisible moth snack.
Oh no, we all love Gutterball.
We do.
I'm about to type up some shit. Gutterball's gonna be quiet for like.
Oh no!
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Um, so I'm sorry, Blair. I am going to do a little deep thing for Levi. I apologize.
No, do it.
There is a moment when you're playing through the whole song where you get to either like a chorus or like a swell of the song or some moment that had sad lyrics when it was being sung to you in the past, and you almost feel as if you can hear your parents singing along with the tune of your ocarina. It almost just seems like it's coming through the wind, like it doesn't seem like they're like right behind you or something, but it just, you get that almost gust of just like that familiarity. I know you're just learning what familiarity means today, but that moment of
You can put a word to the feeling now.
yeah. And you basically sit there and you're like, is that familiarity? Um because it just, you just have that one little wave of your parents joining you in that.
I think when Levi puts the ocarina away, he pulls from behind his cloak, hanging on his back. There's a sword in a sheath, and he just sort of moves it from the back to the front and is like hugging it when he walks back.
Cassius pats you on the head when you return, and he doesn't say anything, but there are tears glistening in his eyes, and he looks proud.
And then Levi demolishes a moth snag. All in one bite, the mothball and the ant log. Just one go.
Oh, just all okay. It's a lovely celery and cotton candy mixture. It is food. It is food.
I'm a progenitor of delicious flavor. Okay?
I will always eat my ant logs with my cotton candy now. Okay, does anyone else want to do anything in this area? You can, so like I said, I keep forgetting to do this, but like we can also say that there is something that is happening that one of you, like if one of you wants to see something here, you can say that something is happening. Like Blair just came up with an entire set of moth snacks that were sitting there. I was gonna have to sit there and be like, oh, it's a potluck. There's some chili, so
Also good. Also chili and moths. Perfect.
no, I like
Companionship.
moth I like mothball cotton candy better. Um but
Franklin's like hanging off the side of the bumble, like as we pass by a berry patch, and is just like grabbing some and like smushing them to see the color, and like, no, not ripe enough. Grab another one, smush it, so he can collect a few, make paints out of later.
I do think there will be a moment where Piper goes up to the shrine as well. Um and I think I ironically enough, she also says something about her mom. And for her, like if any of you are watching, you can't really hear what she's saying, but there is like that moment of like her kind of like looking at the stone, and then like her kind of looking in like a weird almost recognition way at um Ani, her firefly, and like just kind of sits there for a second, like head tilted, and then like walks back to you. And we'll see, I'm assuming that Juniper is now fast asleep on Bert.
Absolutely.
Okay. So she'll say kind of in a little bit of a smaller voice, like, okay, is everyone ready to keep going? So she doesn't wake you up.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. And she, like, you see her keeping her same pace, but like almost a little bit of like that exaggerated, like, I'm gonna try to be quiet kind of thing, like tiptoeing, but still like, you know. Um, and she's still just leading the way further and further into the trees. Um, and again, we'll kind of have that moment of like Bert kind of veering off path and coming back into path. Is everyone like, how does everyone kind of follow in this situation? Is it like a single file line? Does everyone want to, you know,
Wherever
what's
Bert
the
goes.
wherever Bert goes? Okay. Yeah, you and Juniper are kind of just at the whim of Bert's attention span. Um,
Which, fun fact, when you're making like homemade paints, you actually do use honey because it helps bind the pigments.
that's adorable.
I think Levi normally is like too fast for his own good. And is like sprinting around in like serpentine just so he doesn't like get super far away from the group. But I think right now Levi's calmed down just a little bit and is just sort of keeping pace with Piper and is sort of walking in lockstep with her,
Sure.
clutching the sword.
She'll kind of give you that knowing look of like, because she also went up to the shrine. She'll kind of give you that knowing look of like, yeah, yeah. It makes you think about things, kind of. Um, but she doesn't want to intrude either, so she'll kind of just like give you that knowing look and keep going. And if you want to say anything you can, but she's basically just trying to, she knows she's like not the like in the group, she's just kind of like helping you guys out, so she's not trying to be nosy. And then Cassius.
I think Cassius is staying closer to the back just to make sure that Bert doesn't veer too far off. So every so often, I think Cassius is just helping to guide Bert back so that we don't lose all three of them.
You're hurting the bee that the shepherd is asleep on.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. That's very nice of you to take on the load so she can have a rest, or that he can have a rest. I'm sorry. Um, and then Gutterball. How do you kind of just trying to get a vibe of? Go ahead.
Gutterball's just kind of in the middle, just kind of doing that dance walk. If you focused like a camera on Gutterball, you'd see like every now and then kind of like a sneaky hand go in their like pack on their belt and kind of like just palm something and shove it in their mouth really fast. And then just kind of like put it back down. Just kind of like shifty eye looking around, making sure nobody's noticing. Gutterball totally stole a lot more moth snacks than he should have. But yeah, he's trying to be discreet about it.
And it was probably closer to the end of the party anyway.
They
Like,
made too many. Made too many.
yeah,
Gutterball's just
you're
trying to
helping
help.
them out. You're making sure that they're not like wasting food. You know, very nice of you.
Yeah, totally.
Even though Gutterball is probably like, oh no, nobody look at me. Okay. So we're kind of keeping a good steady pace. I think Piper is kind of getting to the point where she's like, okay, so we're probably going to be coming up close. So Bungalow Hollow is basically like a marshy kind of place. I don't remember, like, I don't know why Uthami like stays around here, but from the place that we just were, it sounds like a lot of people find this place home, so uh I'm really hoping we're gonna find her. Um and she'll kind of just keep her eyes trained, and eventually you get into another kind of like clearing, but this time instead of it being a clearing with, you know, it's basically because it's around a little like marshy area. It's not actually like a swamp where there's like significant amount of water. It's just kind of like you don't want to walk through it. It's probably really muddy, but not a lot of trees like to grow in like that extra damp kind of space. Um so you kind of walk into that marsh and she kind of stops and she's looking around and she's like, this should be it. Wonder where they would be.
Should we call out?
We can try, yeah. Uthami?
Umami!
Uthami? She'll kind of like give you that little look of like, Uthami, and she'll try to like talk a little bit over you, just like a little bit louder after you to like make sure they're hearing the right name.
No, you guys, you're not doing it. You're not doing it right. Watch.
Oh yeah.
A warm summer's breath, yes.
He's the wind. Makes sense.
You gotta talk in the language, you gotta talk in the language.
I didn't know you spoke
So-
wind.
I'm a natural.
So actually, when you start doing that, some of the little like reeds that are growing out of the kind of marshy area, they kind of like rustle a little bit with your breath. And it'll take a few seconds, but you're kind of blowing and you're sitting there and you're just, and all of a sudden, just in one of like the little, it basically looks like it's just like a little mud puddle kind of looking thing. You see just a set of eyes just kind of like half open. And just kind of like look around for what's like causing all the reeds to be blowing in the area.
Umami, is that you?
The eyes will train on you, Gutterball, and just kind of like squint and like that, like, who are you? Kind of thing. And then you'll see the eyes close again. And all of a sudden the ground around where the eyes are starts kind of moving and shifting a little bit. And you basically start to see this humongous toad, like probably the size of Gutterball, just like coming out of the mud. Like he was almost just trying to keep cool under the mud, and it's like, can I help you?
Are you a goddess of summer breeze? You certainly are a shape, so that checks a box.
I think we took the most important one.
I am not a goddess.
Oh. Do you know a goddess?
Sits there for a second and just dramatic pause. I don't think I know who you're looking for. And he tries to start going back under the mud.
I'm sorry. I don't know the exact thing to say in this moment.
Did I hear you all calling out the name Uthami? He'll like almost like his back end will be kind of submerged, but he'll still have his head up.
Uthami, umami, potato, yes.
Well, if you're looking for umami, then I definitely don't know what you're looking for. But what if it's Uthami? Why do you seek her out?
Wait a minute, I thought you said you didn't know a goddess.
We're inviting her to a birthday.
Oh,
It was a diversion. Huh.
I know a lie when I see one.
Careful, Gutterball. This guy's serious.
Well, what do you want with her? So he's not being like, I just can't do the voice, but he's just talking very like slow, almost like he's in slow-mo. I just can't do that voice very well. I'm not trying to sound pissed off. I'm just trying to sound like, what are you looking
Oh.
with her kind of thing.
Gutterball still bows up at that.
Just gonna like, Levi said, an invitation to a birthday.
That's good. Very intimidating.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
He looks at you and he sees you getting a little like standoffish a little bit.
Shoulders
and
up.
just I'm trying to think. Whose party?
Do you know Rem?
I don't know these people.
Well then, I don't know what to tell you because that's whose birthday it is.
Okay.
Well, wait. Didn't Rem have a title from like the stuff in the place?
The stuff in the place?
Yeah.
A title?
Mhm.
Did they have a title? I didn't write it down.
What is their title?
Rem
the Resilient.
Rem the Resilient.
The Revenant?
The Revenant.
No.
Resilient. Who's
I just-
The
resilient?
Resilient.
Gutterball will repeat anything that Levi says right now.
So it'll be one of those things where like Levi will be like, it's Revenant, and then like Pipe will be like, no, it's Resilient. Like she's like, he hired me, I know his name. And he's like, Rem the Resilient.
Yeah.
And he has that like moment where he's almost just searching. And he's like, and so you plan to bring Uthami to a birthday party?
Yeah, apparently she's like a real party person. In a way.
I know this Rem the Resilient, but I don't know any of you.
Well, I mean, I think that's pretty normal. Like, we know Rem, but we don't know you, so samesies.
I'm Atlas.
Who? What?
Atlas.
Sorry, my shoulders are up to my ears. I can't really hear very well.
He'll like do the frog or like the toad thing where he kind of like the underside of his chin kind of bellows out a little bit so he can be like Atlas but louder, kind of just project it with like a louder, almost like croak.
Mud splatter.
Okay, I got it. Atlas.
You have a good stage voice.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I don't think there's any theater clubs out here though. How would I know I can trust all of you to... Why didn't Rem come for Uthami if he wanted her to come to a party?
I mean, today he's 111, so, you know, maybe a little bit of a break is nice. He's also in the middle of planning his party. Wait, do you want to come?
Oh yeah, then you can keep an eye on us.
Are you just sad because you weren't invited to Rem's birthday? I get it. I mean,
lose
I
again.
feel a little sad too.
With that, Gutterball's totally like dropped the like toe. It's like,
Oh, you just want to be invited to the birthday party. Okay.
I think Atlas will like sit there for a second, like almost like flabbergasted, like that's not what I... and well, that would... And so he kind of like trails off for a second, but one thing that you all notice is during the time when he's been talking, you almost kind of like catch little glimpses of like almost like I want to say almost kind of like a Patronus, but like a non-formed one, kind of like glitzing around, but like kind of discreetly like behind him, like almost kind of like almost kind of like pacing like behind him a little bit. And oh, there's a new player. We have a new player. What
It's
character is she
Rupert.
playing?
It's Oscar.
Anyway, I just got distracted by a baby. I'm sorry.
It's a
Anyway,
little baby.
so, so he will sit there and almost kind of be like, well, that would actually be very nice. I can keep track of Uthami.
And then you can also like see that we're telling the truth, because if you come and then you see Rem and Uthami's there, then it's just kind of like all the questions are answered. And you get to go to a party.
Again, he just looks like you've stumped him, but like he can't figure out, like he can't say no. And as he's kind of being flustered, all of a sudden you do kind of see that little fluttering of like streaks of light almost. We'll kind of see that her guardian is getting flabbergasted and will come out from behind where he is and kind of take the shape of wrote this down too, oh my goodness. She kind of just like, she doesn't have the shape of an animal. She basically is almost just kind of like a face a little bit.
Gutterbro goes, "Oh, shape!"
Yeah.
And she says, you all know Rem, he's looking for me.
Yeah!
I remember him.
Oh, think?
The name sounds familiar.
Big tortoise fella.
And
He
she'll
did
be
speak really highly of you.
Yeah, he remembers you.
Mostly.
yes. Mostly.
Yeah, it's okay. We don't have to tell him about this part. It's totally fine.
Why yes. Rambunctious little turtle in the military. Always likes just coming to find me after a long day and having just a nice moment of almost meditation. I didn't know that he realized what I was. I thought he just assumed that there was a nice breeze in the area. I didn't realize he ever really saw me.
Definitely did.
He said you were very shape.
You had a shape and a face, and you were there.
Facts.
Shy.
I'd like you to be at the party.
Well, party seems like a lot of people. I'm kind of used to the company of Atlas.
He's coming.
You sure you're up for this, Atlas? And she'll turn towards him. And he'll kind of do that like, well, it's the only way to keep you safe if you want to go. And she seems hesitant, but she also seems kind of heartwarmed as much as somebody that's not a shape without living organs can be heartwarmed. And well, I guess that would be nice. Fantastic. How far away is this party?
Through the woods, up and down a hill, across a lake. There.
Could definitely do that faster than you, but faster than all of you, but I want to keep up with Atlas. So
Levi's pretty fast.
Agreed.
It's true. I could have sprinted here and back by now.
say I'll race you.
Do you want to race? Or is that we're racing?
Race, 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 race,
Yeah.
race.
You want to race the wind?
More than ever. Absolutely.
Okay. See.
Go.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say Gutterball immediately goes behind Levi and it's like,
Levi, this is what you've been training for your whole life.
and just like massaging the shoulders type thing.
It's like, you got this, buddy. You totally got this.
I got this. I was made for this.
You were made for this.
Okay. Who would like to do the countdown for the start of this race? Let's not do it all the way. Let's do it just like to that other clearing where the party goes, where let's not have it be like all the way back because we need to make sure everyone gets back safely.
Yeah.
The Bumble.
And Atlas is still giving you guys the stink eye with like knowing that you've now got her excited to go for a race, and he's like trying to protect her and like watch over her.
The Bumbles would absolutely line up. When everybody had started yelling for Uthami, you would have just heard in the background, "Oh no!" as Juniper fell off Bert, startled awake. I had to look up a video to see how capybara fall, just to make sure that Juniper would be okay. They are all right. They can't get up on their own. But kind of
so cute. That's adorable. Oh my god.
Kind of like dusting them.
Like,
sorry,
luckily he has the support of his friends.
Yes. So one of the Bumbles, or at least one of his friends, would have come and like helped tump him over so that they could get to their feet. And would kind of be like brushing himself off. And is like kind of just observing everything from the background, smiling quietly. But when Levi and Uthami line up, two of the Bumbles would be on either side to like mark the path, and then three of them would kind of be like ahead of the two and raised up, and you would see all three, and then one would drop, and then the next one would drop, and when the third one drops, you would take off. So the Bumbles are ready to orchestrate.
This is adorable. Okay. So Levi, you line up at the starting line.
Mm-hmm.
Are you like stretching? Are you just like, I'm gonna beat the wind today?
No, Levi's always ready to run.
Okay. I think Uthami will kind of like almost be doing little like circles in the air, like she's not in her like kind of facial form anymore. She's kind of just the streak of light again, and is just kind of like doing little circles to warm up. And then she'll finally kind of just settle down and almost be like hovering a little bit, just like that little bobbing up and down, as she's waiting for the mark.
Albie. It is going to be Albie, Petunia, and Barnaby, and then Willow, who Willow has not seen a lot of game time because Willow is missing an eye and is very cautious and very hesitant. But Willow is in the middle because she doesn't like to be exposed on either side. And you would see Petunia and Barnaby go down, and there's this like really awkwardly long pause because they went down on the side where Willow cannot see, so Willow doesn't know that it's her turn to go down. And so Albie would just reach out a little leg and kind of pat, and Willow would go down, and then Albie like goes down and does like a little circle and then spirals into the sky as everybody takes off.
Yeah. You guys never seen Levi move this fast before.
Go, go, go.
All right.
Go.
Uthami is basically, like I said, moving like the wind. She is, like I said, she kind of looks like a little bit of like a non-formed Patronus, so you can kind of see where she's like glitzing, and I think she has gotten like a little streak of confidence because she like feels remembered by Rem after all these years. So she's kind of like confident, she's over eager, I think. So not only is she just making a beeline in the direction that you're supposed to be going in, she's trying to do like extra like little bob in and out, and like you'll see her kind of like glitzing in between trees instead of just doing a straight path.
Levi is fully just like doing little jumps off of trees and like using that to like propel himself, and just obviously it's the wind. He's not gonna beat the wind by any stretch of the imagination, but he's keeping trail.
Okay. Yeah, no, so you I think when you first pulled off, I think you were probably ahead. Like a breeze kind of takes a little while to, like, sometimes it doesn't start and then, you know, it starts slow and then it'll go faster kind of thing. So it takes a second for her to get going at the same, like, she can't go 0 to 60 as easily as you can. Assuming you go 60 miles per hour, which is very cool. So she'll kind of take off a little bit, like, slower than you, so you will have that moment of, like, beating the wind, just being ahead of her, even for as long of a stretch as you do. And then at the very tail end, you think that you have it covered, and at the very tail end, she, like, bobs around a tree and is, like, already at the finish line, like, right as you're about to cross it.
Mm-hmm.
But you also noticed that there was a little deer, like a little baby deer, that kind of like had been like in the area around all of you, and upon seeing all of you decide that you were gonna race, it kind of just wanted to see if it could keep up with you all. Like, it wasn't trying to race with you, but it just wanted to like see if it could. And you will cross the finish line, and then a few seconds later you just see like a little baby deer just like break out through the woods, like right after you, like you already crossed the finish line, but basically just like excited that it like kept up at all. And it was just like, it just looks so happy to have been involved, and then it kind of gets that deer in the headlights look and then just scampers off.
Thanks for joining.
But yeah, you came very close to tying with the wind. And she's kind of sitting there and she's like, "Oh, I think I'm ready to go now."
Excellent.
Thank you for that.
Of course. I love a good run.
You were really fast. I had to stop doing I was worried there after you took off so fast. It's been a little
Everybody has
while.
a starting pace.
I guess so. Is the starting pace for... We're not gonna be running the whole way back, right?
No, my friends don't like running very much.
Okay, good, because I don't think Atlas could keep up with us either. And then she'll kind of like make the motion of like, should we go back so they can meet up with us?
I'll race you back.
Oh, you're on. And she'll start
Levi's
taking
off immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, you called it, so you got the head start on her that time. And so do you think that Levi would be is Levi a good stopper when it comes to like when he's reached, like when he's running and then reaches the point where he's supposed to end, or do you think he like skids back
No,
to
yeah,
the group?
He does have a stopping method. He trips himself and then lets the dirt stop him.
In this case, maybe a little bit of marshy mud.
Yes, that's fun. Levi likes mud.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, the rest of you kind of just you're all watching, and then you realize that Levi is coming at you in like record-breaking speeds. And if all of you can either clear the way, or if you want to stand there and still be watching, that is up to you.
I think Levi's probably aiming to tackle Albie at the end of this.
Juniper is ushered out of the way by Bert. Juniper is still not really awake. And we'll look at Albie, and as Levi's coming in, just say, "Please be careful." But Albie is ready and waiting.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Um so at this point, do we want to like have like a very short narrative of like you guys basically retracing your steps and heading back to the party? Is there anything that anyone still wants to do? Because again, you're basically going to be going through the same area. So if there's anything that you were thinking like I didn't get a chance to do this, or like, oh, it would have been really fun to like ding dong ditch Alba or something like that, like just whatever you want to do, if we can like narrate little parts so we don't have to just retrace our steps.
Franklin's
So
just painting the whole way back.
okay, you're gonna trip on some twigs and stuff if
Oh,
you're trying to do that in the forest.
on top of the bumble.
On top, that's right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you are painting away. Luckily, if you accidentally like drip any of your paint from when you like dab your brush with it to actually get it on, it'll just land on the bumble, and it's made out of honey anyway. Um, what do you think? At least if anyone has anything they want to do, or at the very least, maybe just like say something like what you'd be doing while you're kind of focusing now that you don't really need to like, it's not the same sense of like this is new. It's kind of like, yeah, okay, we're going past the trees again. Like, we'll wave to the people at the shrine. So,
Gutterball will pass out snacks to our new teammates, and also is gonna try that slide down the hill type thing. Just attempt it. Um, I feel like it's if anybody was at the bottom of the hill, it'd be pretty terrifying because it's a very large possum, just like and just like sliding down at fast speeds. But it doesn't look graceful. It's not
It's
as good.
beautiful.
Probably no, it's definitely not. But thank you, I appreciate it. But probably in between a Franklin and a Levi dive.
I do think that there's going to be a moment where like if this were a movie, there's a very slow-mo of Gutterball just like sliding down and the pollen just like exploding out behind him, because I feel like that's very Gutterball. It's basically like the like explosion in the background of like somebody walking away looking dramatic, but instead
Straight up.
this way it's like Gutterball just like sliding down the hill, and in slow-mo just the pollen just exploding out behind them in their wake.
Yes, probably at the bottom of the hill, still like completely covered in pollen again. So all the all the bumbles are like, "Meh."
I'm literally just imagining you like flopped down, just like looking up at the sky, and the bees just all like fussing around you.
Don't worry, I'll catch up in like 10 minutes. It's fine.
I have a question for Kian. Are all the bumbles big enough for like the smaller critters to ride on?
Um, I would say three of them are Bert and Val, and then Petunia and Barnaby.
Mhm.
Willow and Albie are too small to be
Okay.
ridden upon. Are you jumping on my bumbles?
Well, and not jumping on, but if Albie was big enough to carry someone, then Levi was gonna hold on to Albie from underneath and attempt to like glide down the hill.
Albie will certainly is down to try.
Perfect.
Albie would
We attempt
absolutely.
that.
You do have a toad kind of just ambling behind you. Um,
I was
so
gonna ask, how
yeah,
big is Atlas compared to the rest of us? Is he like big, big toad? Like I'm picturing the toad from Pan's Labyrinth, and I know that's
um,
wrong, but
I have watched Pan's Labyrinth and do not remember a toad in Pan's Labyrinth, so obviously I haven't watched it in a while. It is like to the point where it's probably if it was like to stand on its I don't know if you can really stand on its hind legs, but like it is about as long as Gutterball.
okay,
So pretty significantly sized, like will not be able to sit there, and even if he was the type to try to ride on a Bumble, probably would not even consider asking kind of size.
okay.
So he's just kind of hopping behind you guys. Um kind of again, he's basically protector, and he's coming along because he wants like he hasn't met you guys for long enough to like have that full trust, so he's like, I am watching after Uthami. So she's all like racing through the racing through the meadows, and she'll try to like rustle the flowers along the way and everything, but he's just kind of like hopping along as the chaperone.
I think that Juniper. How big is Cassius?
I mean, Cassius is big. Cassius is a full-size tiger.
Could a capybara ride on a tiger? Okay, okay. The confidence with which you
Oh,
responded,
yes.
that is very heartwarming. Um, I think that Juniper will trot over to Cassius. Um, well, I don't want to disturb Franklin as he is painting, and I am still quite tired, and I am wondering if you would be willing to give me a ride.
Of course, Juniper. All you had to do was ask.
Um, and I will hop because capybaras can indeed. I will just hop and curl up, and I imagine Willow, my little injured bumble, will probably come and rest on my head. So we are a three-tiered adventure trotting along. But Juniper is trying to get a little nippy nap in since he didn't get one in the trees, and then he fell and woke up from the other one. So he's trying for a peaceful nap.
I feel like Juniper can actually curl up in the hood of Cassius's cloak since he now has that down.
Perfect. Juniper is just snug as a bug, and I am so here for it.
I think when all of you get closer to the lake again, there's a moment where Atlas will are any of you probably like more likely hanging back than other people? Like who would probably be like closer like to just walking at maybe Atlas's pace? Like you don't have to wait for him, but
I mean, I did say that Gutterball laid down for 10 minutes as the bees
that's fair.
or
Um
Bumble, sorry.
I think that's actually perfect. So after after most of the journey back through the trees, through the meadow, there's a moment where Atlas kind of catches up to Gutterball, and Gutterball was the one to kind of confront him in the first place and get all bristly and try to demand to know where Uthami was. And all of a sudden he has this moment of like looking at like all of your party members being very trusting of each other and all of you being really good friends, and he is almost like, thank you for um sticking up for your cause. I I think I trust you guys more than I realized I would have. And he's like looking at like Juniper literally just balled up in the hood of like Cassius's or in Cassius's hood. And he's just like, you were right. Well, I was not really being helpful, so um I'm glad that I'm glad that I came along. And he gets that like kind of stiff like dad, like he doesn't know how to say the words that are emotional, so he's just like, I am glad that Uthami and I came along with all of you.
Yeah, I can tell. I mean, I feel like you really need to like cut loose with this party. You were literally like covered in mud.
Well, all of you are approaching a lake. So
Oh, I was just
he's
meaning about a party.
I am literally a stick in the mud. Um he'll kind of just like, do I not look party ready?
No, no, I didn't say that. I said you look party wanting.
That is correct. Hmm.
Me too. I'm excited for a good party. I love parties. We can be party wanting together.
Good, because I don't know if I can trust the rest of the people at the party.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we have some real shady folks in our village. Oh.
And you're bringing me back there?
I'm just kidding. That was a lie.
Oh, ha.
Our village is actually really nice. We have a lot of really nice people. See, I said I over made it sound worse so that maybe you'd like feel like but then now it's better than that, so maybe you feel a little bit more comfortable. It was a tactic. I read it in a
No,
book once. I don't know.
your tactics, I think I'm just slow on catching up on them. But I'll probably get it once I get there.
Nice.
Um and yeah, he's basically just like that, like literally just the awkward dad that's like supposed to be the chaperone, but he's finally like, okay, these kids aren't half bad. So um but anyway, does anyone else have anything they want to do? We're gonna cross the lake, go back to the party. All right. So Atlas will swim across the lake. So the mud will kind of just come off in like he'll leave like a little streak of mud as it like rinses off of him as he's crossing the lake back. Um, and you all reapproach the party as it is starting to, um, the sun is starting to set. It's starting to be that point in the night where the sky almost looks like light blue to like purplish, like a deep dark, like velvety purple blue to a little bit of black starting to seep in, and the clouds, the stars are about to like starting to pop up in little places. You can start to recognize that it's nighttime, and you can see the moon. It is almost completely full, so it is providing plenty of light. Um, and you pull up with the last few arrangements of um little creatures here and there running around trying to put on the final touches of decorations, trying to see like they'll look at where all of the firefly houses are placed on the tree and realize there's one part that's a little bare, so they'll kind of try to ruffle through a box to see if they can grab another one to put over there, so hopefully it'll kind of like get them to spread out in the tree a little bit more. All of the tents are set up and people are starting to come in and do that little small talk thing as all the villagers who see each other from day to day are at a setting where they can just take a pause and not be doing their normal bustling day jobs, but be there to celebrate a just icon of the village. And everybody is wearing their nicest clothes. They are dressed up like you've never seen them before because, again, they usually are wearing clothes that are to make bread in or to garden in or, work with metal. So right now they are wearing the clothes that don't have holes, that don't look like it's just something they threw on. They're all decorated up. And before you all kind of settle in to the party, you can all change if you'd like. I don't know if anyone wants to, if everyone is happy with what they're wearing too, but that's an option. You can, if you'd like to get dressed up, but obviously your adventuring clothes are very important and a mark of a job well done today.
Juniper finds a top hat and a bow tie. Adventuring clothes. But affixes a little bow tie and puts on a top hat, and everybody that he comes across tips the hat to them.
Okay. If everyone else is all set with what they're wearing, then you can descend on the party and go try to find the man of the hour. He is... You'll roam around the party and you'll be inquiring about him maybe from person to person. Just, he's not as obviously in a place where he was last time, like you just kind of eyes drawn right to him. And eventually, a little duck that you know by the name Lemon will tell you that I think I saw him in the tent kind of closest to the tree. I think that's his personal spot. I think he's probably getting all gussied up. And so you all make your way towards this tree the tree with a tent next to it, and the tent has flowers kind of around the rim of like kind of decorating it as like to stand out as being his particular tent where he, the man of the hour, is finding solace before having a night of people talking to him and making the rounds. You all walk into the tent, and he is still wearing the flower crown. He's still holding the staff. Well, the staff right now is leaned up against the wall as he's just finishing getting ready, but he very much so is trying to dress to match the crown and staff vibe. So, I'm trying to figure out probably what he would be doing with having a turtle body, but I think he'd mainly decorate his shell in a very nice way. He'd probably have like a nice little cape draped over it that has some decorations. Considering he did fight in the military in the past, he probably does have his little badges there, even though he doesn't really care about the status of it anymore. Just something shiny that he knows he owns that makes him feel like he stands out a little bit. And he's kind of fixing one of the little pins as you all walk into the tent. And he sits there, he finishes up, and he looks up and he's like, "Oh, you're all back. That's perfect. Did you find her?"
Yeah, it was really easy. It really was just a walk over a hill, and then there was a race. There were bunnies. There were moths.
Don't forget the boat.
There was a boat?
Yes. I think. I'm not sure.
It may have been a boat.
Tell you, I definitely believe there was a
There
boat.
was.
I believe I saw you all get onto a
Some
boat.
of you swum.
That's
That's
why you
true.
don't remember.
That was literally like the first part.
Well, that was the part that I could see.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there was definitely that. The rest of it, I don't know. A race.
I raced the wind.
She raced you. Did you
Yeah,
win?
almost.
Well, that's quite a feat. And then as you're saying that, I think Uthami would kind of like curl in, like almost like kind of, I don't know the right word, but she kind of just flits into the room. Um and she doesn't take up space when she's in that little form, so it's not like she's like standing in front of anybody. But she just flits in and kind of does a little twirl around him kind of thing. Um and then goes back into the form of kind of like the face and says, "You remembered me." And Rem just gives that like scoff of like, "Of course." And it's just they basically have a moment where it seems like it's old times, and she's like just doing a little like, I don't know, he just looks very at peace now that she's in the room. And Alice is waiting outside because he just is still like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm here. I have left my swamp, or my marsh. I am existing. Um, but yeah. So Rem will eventually, like after a few moments of almost it seems like he is just meditating because she is there, and he just feels so content having seen her after so long. And then he's like, "Oh, that's right. I promised you all a fruit basket, didn't I?" And he kind of turns around, and he's like kind of like behind a table. He leans down, he grabs it, and he just pulls out this enormous basket of fruit that will probably feed you all for like days.
Well,
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Was Levi
Well-
and Gutterball in the case? Absolutely not.
Well, you know, he thought it was a lot. um he hands it over to who wants to accept the basket. Who is the most eager to like
We all
grab it from
know.
him?
We all know who it is.
I was assuming
Yep.
wanted to just pointedly be like, "Here you go, Gutterball," specifically.
Ah, thanks, Rim. You're the best. Thank you.
I'm just gonna grab it now. But it, like, it's not gonna like, not gonna like eat all of it. Is having some kind of form of restraint, but just takes like the first berry and it's just like, like a, like you know when there's like a cat that has a hold of something and you're trying to like pull it away and the cat's just like, it's like it's kind of like that as he like eats really fast. It's just like, I didn't know
Um,
I could make that noise. That's a new discovery. That's fun.
every stream from now on, Blair's just like, "I know this sound now."
I'll slip it in somehow. Not
Um,
annoying at all.
Before you do that, he basically sits there, he hands you the basket, he just says, "Thank you for reuniting me with an old friend that I never thought I'd see again." And then hands the basket over, and then all frenzy breaks out over trying to get the fruit basket.
Yeah, good plan. Good plan.
We should.
And then he,
We should give them a minute or two to catch up.
oh, by all means, all of you, go enjoy the party. I think everything should be taking off any minute. You made it back in perfect time. Must be the races you all had.
I still got a few finishing touches up on my paintings. I'm gonna go take care of that.
Again, you
Oh.
didn't have to get me anything. You brought me back the old friend, but I'd like to see it. I'm very excited to see it. Very like nonchalantly, like, you got me a present, but you didn't need to get me a present, but you got me a present.
Oh, Rem. Hey, I know you said you didn't want presents, but do you want one more? It's okay. I'm just gonna give it to you anyway. And
he's literally like, he is literally just like, I already asked it so much of all of you, but like, presents are nice. Like, that's
No.
basically the vibe.
It's okay. I have extras. It's fine.
And Gutterball's gonna reach into his little like belt pouch and pull out. It's a crumpled moth snack, and then a mothball that's a little stretched. I mean, it had to make the whole journey back in this like pouch, and it's just gonna like have it, but play it off like it's supposed to look this way,
And just be like, here, snacks.
Had a much more eventful journey than you all got back in time and still got me all of. And he just like goes to take a bite of the cotton candy, and he's just like, oh, that's delightful. And he just is just gonna
You
like
should try
smush
it with
the
the
rest of it.
celery.
To get
Dad.
would that work? How? He tries it.
That's right.
Yes, the savory of the celery quite complements the sugar of the cotton candy. Kind of just saying it to be polite.
He's just
You
being
been trying
nice.
something-
Levi's so proud of that.
You've been trying something new on your 111th birthday.
The fact there still are new things for me to try is very exciting. So thank you for the opportunity. And he's kind of just like smacking his like, he doesn't have lips, he's a turtle, but like kind of that imagery kind of thing of like, yeah, the celery and the cotton yeah.
All right. Let's give him some time to catch up. Come on.
Yeah, so all of you go out into the party. Like I said,
Cassius actually holds back for a moment.
Of course.
And is likely the last one out.
Sure.
And just turns to Rem and says, I'm really glad that we were able to find Uthani and bring her here to reunite the two of you. It's something that so rarely seems to happen these days when people have been separated. And it couldn't have happened at a better time for her to be here at your celebration.
Gives that thoughtful nod, and you know, she was back in a day of fighting and chaos. She was literally what she's the goddess of a warm summer breeze. I was so honored to be able to have her once, and I don't think I can ever thank any of you enough for bringing her back here. And I do hope that if there's anything that you're separated from, I do hope that you get a reunion one day as well.
Thank you, Ren, and I think even if that is not in the cards for me, I think we all learned something about ourselves. I know I felt at least a moment of peace during our trip to find Uthani that I didn't know I could feel.
He'll smile and take a second before he says, you know, there are things that sometimes people hang on to the past, and I know I've definitely done that with 111 years, but I do say that the friends that you have in front of you are hopefully a step in the right direction to healing whatever loss you've experienced. I know I've had trouble with moving forward. As you can see, obviously you all brought me someone from very far back in my past. But I'm at least happy that you had an experience with it seems like some very trustworthy people. And I hope they know how I hope they know what they have and all of you realize what you have in front of you, as well as remembering those from the past.
I think we all do, and can't remember whose bit of wisdom this was, but as someone said during our trip, the friends were the flowers we made along the way. And with that, Cassius is just gonna turn after wishing Rem a happy birthday once more. But before he steps out, he is actually going to take off his cloak entirely and drape it over his arm. And for the first time since you've met Cassius, he is dressed just in a simple tunic and pants. And you see that his arms are covered in lines of tattoo, a script woven over and over again. And none of you would know this, but it's all written in the language he spoke earlier at the shrine.
I think it's seeing Cassius come out without his cloak on. Levi will just sprint and leap and hug around Cassius's neck.
Which is a little overwhelming for Cassius, but he just kind of awkwardly pats Levi's head.
We both made each
And
other
says,
proud today.
"We did. You're a good kid, Levi."
And Levi will break away and go back to the rest of the group.
So really fast, I will say that when you said the friends are the flowers we made along the way, Rem took you very literally, and he kind of like touches the flower crown on his head, and he's just like like you turn around, you don't even see this, but he just like touches the flower crown, like like these young ones and their phrases. Okay, so all of you are at the party at the end of your adventure. There are fireflies twinkling in the trees. The stars are out, and all of you, there are multiple blankets just set up that people have brought and just kind of left very trustingly to, if you like, they basically had spares where if you wanted to just lay down and stargaze, you could. There are bonfires going, and there's a little band with like I want to say a like a little otter playing the fiddle and a bear like playing the washboard. And just like there's a nice little atmosphere of music, and it almost just feels like one of those scenes where like you see a like when you're watching a movie and like everything else is kind of like a little bit darker around, but it almost just looks like there's just this warm glow just in the exact area you're in. as people are talking, people are having drinks, they are not participating in whatever substance Franklin has in his pockets because this is a wholesome game. But
Herbal supplements.
the herbal supplements, but they are absolutely letting loose and enjoying everything. All of the foods that are out were probably made and grown in your own very village. Everyone is very proud of what they were able to contribute to this party, and all of you just get to go into it and do whatever you'd like and enjoy that moment of an entire village that seems like it's just letting out a breath as it celebrates Rem's 111th birthday. Does anyone else want to do anything at the party before we wrap up for the evening?
Franklin has 2 paintings,
Yes.
and probably go track down Cassius first.
Okay.
Uh,
Cassius, where do you think you would be partway through a party? Newly kind of exposed a little bit, but in that way that, again, you have this newfound confidence from your friends and the shrine and the moment that you're in.
Cassius is definitely testing the waters, and so I think he is striking up a conversation with one of the townspeople he hasn't really talked to before, but might have a little crush on and want to explore that, and is trying to see if he can at least, get through introductions and that piece before he panics and has to run away.
hey, Cassius. Slow down. You're like many feet taller than I am.
After you're walking away, I'm assuming?
We can hope.
Not in the middle of a conversation.
You know what? I'll wait. I'll be right here.
Just give me 10 minutes.
Dan's like,
And true to his word, 10 minutes later he comes over.
hey, I finished your painting while we were on our way back home. I had to use some different paints. Well, you'll see. But and you'll flip it around, and it's the flower field. And it's Cassius there, just handful of flowers making the crown. When the clouds all they'll move, and it's just full moon, nothing but moonlight. Hold it up to the moonlight.
And Cassius slowly lifts it up.
Not now. There's not enough moonlight.
Okay.
I'll let you know. I'll give you the
So
signal.
Okay. What signal am I looking for, Franklin? Okay. I will definitely notice that.
Turns and just starts running off, looking for Rem. I assume is like the center of the celebration.
Yes. So Rem is probably sharing a drink with a few villagers. And he, again, kind of, it's almost kind of like Rem has Uthami has kind of gone back into the form of just being like a little glimmer of light that can kind of dance around. So she's probably like, actually, she is almost like resting on the back of his shell a little bit, just almost like illuminating a little piece of his shell to make him like very much so stand out, so everyone, like, it's almost like the birthday boy banner, but just like resting on top of his thing, because she very much so came for him, So she is just very comfortable and happy to be reunited with a friend and wants people to be able to find him very easily in this crowd of people. But yeah, so he'll be sharing a drink with some villagers, but um he'll see you kind of start to approach and he'll give you that nod of like feel free to join us.
Hi. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but I finished it just in time. I think we have just a few moments left until it's perfect. Um, flip the painting over, and it's the tree and all of the various party goers kind of all gathered around the base of it, with of course Rem being at the center, at the base of the tree, and he is like toasting a cup, although he is kind of alone there, like in the center. There's a gap between him and any of the other party goers. Tell you the same thing that I told Cass. As soon as the moon is just as bright as it can be, hold the painting up and look at it through the moonlight. Okay?
He'll look up at where the moon is right now and be like, so maybe half an hour,
Sure. If you
right?
can
Yeah.
judge that, I trust you. All
He's
right.
111 years old. He's looked up at the stars a few times and
All right. Happy birthday. And turn and hurry back down.
thank you.
When the moment does hit, and the moonlight shines down for Cassius's painting, which was just him alone in the flower field. When the moon hits it, you can see the other colors that kind of just start bleeding into the painting of Levi and Gutterball and Juniper and Franklin, all just like gathered around, just laughing and smiling and playing. And of course, the Cassius himself, who kind of in the original painting looked very focused, almost somber, now is smiling.
And Cassius just stares for a long moment at the painting and thinks not just about the adventure that the five of them had today, but how over the months that we've all gotten to know each other, you have become his family, and it's been so hard for him to let go of what he'd lost. And seeing the smile on his face, he's capable of that because he finds himself smiling in this moment, even though tears are streaming down his cheeks. He feels that peace again. And if he can find Franklin's eyes as he gazes around, he just nods and mouths, "Thank you."
Rem's painting, which of course had him alone at the base of the tree, but holding a cup as if he were cheersing. It would again show those colors start to bleed in, and the goddess herself can be seen kind of swirling around the tree, and other figures that Franklin has never seen before, doesn't know who they are, but was inspired to paint them. Old soldiers, people from Rem's past that he has unfortunately outlived, but they're all there.
I'm gonna say that like the fact that I personally literally in real life got chills, I'm gonna say that that's probably how Rem reacts as well. Just like that moment of like not even being able to comprehend how you knew, how you were able to get the details so perfect, and seeing those faces that he hasn't seen in so long. He just entire body just like has a little like it gets chills, and then all of a sudden it's just relaxed. And like he was probably putting on that like party, you know, he's the man of the hour, so he kind of is sitting there thinking like, I have to be turned on, I have to be active and alert and talking to people. And for a second he just actually sits there and looks around at all the faces that are in front of him, that are still there celebrating with him, and he has a new appreciation for the people in the past who have made him, who have taught him how to appreciate what he has now. And I think at that moment he does stand up and make the picture come true by deciding that he's going to make a toast. And he starts kind of clinking his glass, and he looks around at everybody as they start to quiet down, or at least the people that are close enough to. It's a very big it's a very big area, so there are probably people in the outskirts that didn't really realize what's going on, but the people that are close enough to hear him, he just says, "It's taken me 111 years to realize that this 111 years had those, every battle, every sad moment has brought me where I am today with all of you, and I don't know how I could be a luckier tortoise." And he'll kind of find Franklin in the crowd and kind of be like talking almost to Franklin at that, and just, I've been brought pieces of my past, and as much as I love those memories, I have to say, I think this is the best memory of them all, and I hope to keep making a whole lot more of them with all of you. And he sits there and he raises the glass again, and cheers as all of you. Is there anything else anyone would like to do at the party? I know we haven't gotten to a few people. I want to make sure everyone gets a chance to say what they'd be doing if they want to, or if you just want to say you're enjoying the party, that's fantastic too.
Juniper is stargazing, but at hearing Rem's speech, and Juniper is like absolutely laying like as a capybara would, so legs are like folded up doing the T-Rex pose. But at hearing Rem's speech would kind of stand up and, you know, be attentive, glass in hand, and listening to him talk about like the memories and the good moments, is probably looking out over the flock and is just kind of observing all of the little bumbles, and spots Albie weaving through the crowd trying to find snacks, and Willow tentatively like kind of creeping, and Bird is right by Juniper's side, but definitely is kind of thinking about like all of the bumbles that are here and the bumbles that aren't, and is feeling really grateful and just nice and warm and cozy.
And when you do have that moment when you're looking up at the stars, you like get to the point where you're just feeling so relaxed and content that you feel as if you've napped a full, like you just had an entire journey, but now you feel as if you have finally rested in the, like even if you didn't even fall asleep, you feel as if you have rested better than you have in years. Just completely at peace in that moment.
For the first time in a long time, Juniper is able to stand up without using the shepherd's hook to lean on.
Adorable. I just want to like all of the changes that I'm seeing in all of you. I just want to like round of applause. Just so proud of all of you. Is there anyone? I think Levi and Gutterball. Have we?
I was about to say I can wreck that for you and be the exact same that I've been the whole time.
You know what? Gutterball was so wholesome all along that, and so assured in themselves that I think that's the pure beauty of I was happy all along and I still am.
Yeah, I think Gutterball will have like one of those tiny like party plates, and has a one piece of cake on it, and is like, "Hey, Levi, over here, over here!" And is gonna go next to Juniper and be like, "Is this seat taken?" And then sit down, and then to stargaze is going to lay completely back, but set the plate on their chest, and like be looking up at the stars and fork in mouth, and be like, you'd think I'd do this more often since I sleep under a tree a lot, but I really don't. So this is cool. Just gonna kind of enjoy the time there.
I think Levi will see that Juniper and Gutterball are sort of laying and stargazing, and will run through like the crowd to like find Franklin and grab Franklin by his arm, and then run and find Cassius and grab Cassius by his paw, and bring them over to the blanket. And we'll begin playing the song from earlier while they stargaze.
Okay. So you have that classic end of movie moment where all of you are laying on a blanket that is surprisingly long enough to fit all of you on that one blanket side by side. And Levi is playing this song that has a lot of meaning to them, and you almost just have that moment of the camera panning. First it was looking up at the sky, and then it kind of like zooms away from all of you just looking up at the stars and the music playing in the background, and you all just look like rested. Even though you just had an entire journey, you all look at peace, you all look happy, you all look like you belong in that moment, and that moment could not be any more perfect. And then we have one like tiny little thing at the end, like the end credit scene, where Atlas is having a conversation with Alfred, the goose from the boat. Just both of them trying to like awkwardly make conversation at the very tail end, but that's like after you've already had your like nice wrap up where all of you just, with Cassius not having the mask and the cloak on anymore, and Levi playing this song that has meaning, and Gutterball looking probably eating the best cake they've had after having also had like an entire basket of fruit. Where is that basket of fruit? We don't know. Whether all of you finished
It's
it or
gone.
Gutterball finished it,
I think Franklin is laying like on Gutterball's like stomach area and just reaching up and just grabbing things off the plate.
Gutterball will share. That's fine. That's fine. Probably go back for seconds and thirds and fourths, but Gutterball will share.
And with that moment of all of you just being happy and at peace and together, which is the most important part, I think that is going to be where we end our Wanderhome one shot. So thank you, all of you. I honestly, like I said, I have been wanting to play this game for so long, and the fact that all of you just like, first of all, gave me the cutest little like moments of chaos, but also just gave me straight up chills. I could not have asked for a better cast. I appreciate all of you so much. And now I want to make sure that all of you have a chance to say who you are, say what you're doing, because all of you are amazing people that want, like, everyone should go see more things you do.
Oh wait,
So
Piper's with us too.
I forgot about
We can't
Piper.
forget Piper.
We pulled
I went into
Piper over
GM
it.
mode instead of Firelight mode. Oh no.
We
Piper
pulled
is
Piper
there.
over.
Piper had a beautiful moment where, let's say that her firefly kind of went to go celebrate with the other fireflies and does this nice little, like, this little twirl around the tree, and I think Piper is actually, like, for a while just sitting up against the tree, just looking up at the fire, like the fireflies, and just watching them twinkle. And like there are also stars as well, but for some reason, like, to her, the fireflies are the focus. And then eventually, yeah, she will come join you all. She's not running around anymore. She is resting and enjoying your time as friends rather than as people that she is guiding towards a swamp. So I can't believe I forgot.
Yay!
Yay! Woohoo! She was there all along.
Yeah.
We didn't forget about her at
Yes,
all.
yes.
We did it.
We did it.
Huzzah.
Yay! But so we're gonna start. You know what? We're just gonna do complete chaos mode, and I am going to call on Kian first.
Yeah, Kian.
Hey, didn't come here to get bullied, y'all. Hello, everybody. My name is Kian. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. You can find me on Twitter at uptight_chiffon. I have been Juniper tonight, the capybara, the fatherly little shepherd, with all of the bumbles. This was so lovely, Lonnie. Thank you so much for having me. As always, a delightful cast, a phenomenal game. Next up, you can find me on, let me look at the calendar, the 30th. When are we playing Nova? The 30th?
30th.
The 30th. Okay.
Yes.
I will be hanging out with pretty much everybody on this screen to play Nova, one of our mini campaigns here on Lost Caravan. It is so much fun. This has been a delightful, wholehearted evening. We'll be marching to our deaths in Nova, so, you know, a nice little reprieve. On the 1st, our Invisible Sun campaign over on Sorting Key is returning. Definitely come and check that out. We have taken 2 weeks off, and it is going to be absolutely bananas. We went to the future and came back to the past, and so we've had all this time to prep to possibly fight an angel. We're going to see what happens. I don't know how that's going to go. I don't think it's going to go very well. On the 5th, we will be playing Nova again, which I'm super excited about. I am in the Fabula Ultima campaign here on Lost Caravan, so our next session is going to be on the 3rd. It's going to be episode 5. It is a lot of fun. I am so excited about where all those stories are going. I am part of a couple of projects that are going to be streaming in June. I can't talk about them quite yet, but I am very much excited about them. And on the 2nd, I believe, I will be here playing Sleepaway, which I am super stoked about. But I think that's it. That's me.
All right. Total chaos mode. Blair.
Of course you say that and I can't find my unmute button. Hi, I'm Blair _Canadian Moose all over the place. I've been playing Gutterball tonight, and this has been absolutely fantastic. I love all of you. Y'all are all great. Let's just play every game together for the rest of eternity. Done, done. Um, my next game is on Sunday over on High Shelf Collective. That's usually where you can find me a lot of times. But playing Hyrule Historia. Hey, have you been stuck playing Tears of the Kingdom? Well, take a moment to break that and come watch us play Legend of Zelda esque. What? Hold on, I fucked that up. It is in the Legend of Zelda world, but it's using Cipher System, and it's so cool. I'm playing a little Rito bird person that actually had a little bit of trauma last game. All I will say, if creepy red hands with eyes in the middle of it. If you know, then you know. But yeah, so it's great. Come watch that. It's super fun. Then yeah, we got Nova on the 30th. I'm not ready. I'm gonna cry, but I'm super excited to play with all these wonderful people again. Lonnie, just come. Lonnie's making a character for like. But for our death, you can. Oh yeah, that's perfect. You can just make a character for our death.
I did. Oh, perfect.
Mhm.
There you
Just tagging
go.
at the very end of a campaign. Don't know any of you, and I'm just like, I am here now.
I'm ready to die. Yay.
I already did it yesterday, so what's more?
Perfect. Oh, I actually don't have anything. We just wrapped up the end of our Ascension in Paradise, our Cyberpunk Red campaign. This was book 3 of the Cyberpunk Red anthology. It was batshit. I recommend going to watch it. Watch all 3 books, but I mean, if you don't want to, definitely go watch Ascension. No, you should watch all of them because there's lore. There's fucking lore in all of it, and it's crazy. So yeah, don't have that on Wednesday, but you can go back and watch the VODs on Twitch. And then I'm also in the Sleepaway game that's here on Friday. That's Friday, right? Okay, yes it is. So that's gonna be fun. And then I play Mass Effect over on High Shelf. So yeah, it's games, lots of games, but it's all good. So that's me.
All right. You know what? Poop. You go in
Hi.
the middle instead of at the beginning or the end. Ha.
Hello. I'm Andrew. You may have seen me around here once or twice. Usually running a game or two and making people cry and or fear for their lives. Today I did it from the other side, but it's very wholesome because I was Franklin, a character that I love. I love artistic characters like bards or painters or writers because I myself am very creative, some might say, and it's fun to get to do that. But yeah, you can find me here like all the time, almost every single day of the week. Just doing fun stuff, telling fun stories, and meeting cool people.
Hey. Oh gosh. JD, JT. Oh no. I'm gonna
You
go
have to
with
Alphabetically.
alphabetically is JD. So
No, let's let JT go. JT totally
No,
wants to
hey.
go.
No, after you.
If JT
After
goes
you,
first, it makes my
JD.
life easier.
After you, buddy.
both of you talk at the same time.
All right.
We'll figure out where you are.
With the amount of overlap we have, that would honestly probably work.
It's a lot.
I'm gonna keep this simple as I can. I am JD. Tonight I was Cassius, who was the Exile playbook. This was an incredible game, Lonnie. I have now gotten to play Wanderhome twice, and it is always an incredibly beautiful and touching story. And yes, I want to play with all of you wonderful people so many more times. I will be playing with a lot of other wonderful people in the coming weeks. I am currently a part of, I think we tallied it up, I am a player in 5 ongoing campaigns, running another one, all pretty much with Live from the Apocalypse or Tales from the Table Studio. That is why I will keep it simple and just say that if you want to find me in the next 4 days, You can find me with Live from the Apocalypse tomorrow for our Regency-flavored Monster Hearts game, A Season of Secrets and Shadows, which is coming into its final 4 episodes and has just been renewed for a second season.
Yeah!
So more of that chaos is coming probably in the fall, so I don't die, because I've been GMing a lot and will be GMing a lot. You can find me with RPGs Uncovered for a game that I know a lot of people on this channel enjoy. We're doing a demo play of Locus. I am playing the worst human being I have ever created in a game, and it is going to be delightful. So that is what I will be doing at 2 o'clock on Saturday. And then on Sunday, you can return to Live from the Apocalypse for Academy H, where we will be recording 2 episodes of our Masks Actual Play podcast. We will be coming back to these characters for the first time in 2 months. We are all very excited. And if you're not listening yet to Academy H, you should check it out on your podcatcher of choice because it is amazing. Teenage superheroes, lots of drama, bone magic. What more do you want in life? And I will leave that there because I will also be back here for Nova, and I can just plug more things when I make that return because there is plenty more coming up.
And then last but certainly not least, JT.
Hi, I'm JT. I was Levi Candlebright tonight. You can find me on Twitter, where I am now Twitter famous officially, as I have crossed the 200 follower threshold. You can find me tomorrow playing Lady Octavia Frostpin on LFTA, and back for season 2 in the fall. You can find me playing in Nova next week with a solid majority of these people here. And then, what else am I doing? Playing LFTA next month, playing Nova next month. Oh, I've got 3 games I can't announce yet, but I am running a Chaos Crew game, a Triangle Agency. It is looking to be rather hectic on the 22nd here in Lost Caravan next month. I am very looking forward to it. And eventually there will be a personal project to announce, but I'm still waiting on someone to reply back to me about it. So, we're good. That's it. That's all I've got.
All right. Well, hello everyone. I am Lonnie or Looney Shaz. I am sadly not in the Nova campaign, the only one of everyone you see here that is not. Watch me make a character and just show up in pre-stream on the 30th. I know what it is because I've heard all of you say it now. But if you want to see me in things that I'm assigned to be in, I actually just finished 4 days in a row of streaming. Yesterday my character died. I had my first character death yesterday. So today was absolutely lovely to have a nice little wholesome game with a bunch of great people. But after this, I think the next thing I have coming up is going back to Trauma. Yeah, I will be in James's Locust campaign, or mini-series. So, that starts on June 7th, so going back to, I've done Call of Cthulhu, Necrobiotic, Locust within the last week, so going right back to Locust. And we're doing the 2008 housing crisis, so, you know, really realistic horror. So I'm terrified to see how it's gonna go, but I'm very excited for it. And then after that, on the 19th, I will be back here and running a game again, but this time, I don't know if I've officially announced this, because I know I've told my players, but our Tales from the Flood has now transitioned officially to being, Tales from the Loop has transitioned to being Things from the Flood. So, the characters had a very dramatic ending where they came back from the moon, and aged all 5 years, so now they are all considered adults. Which, what's more terrifying than that? But other than that, I think I need to sign up for more streams. But yeah, and that's it from me. I think the best way to sign this off is just to say that treat life as all of my players did with Wanderhome. Live in the moment, do the silly thing, go roll down a hill in the grass, do things that make other people happy, do things that make yourself happy, and just enjoy what's out there. And I think with that, we're going to say goodnight, everyone.
We're gonna raid Magi RPG.
Hey.
Go
Bye.
smile at flowers. Bye.